Good evening and welcome to another exciting show. Now, unfortunately, Paul has, Anorak rather, has just come out of therapy. 4 happy days are here again, and I'm afraid you've had to make another appointment with the psychiatrist.
Yeah. The dancing that Steve mentions is more of a twitch than a dance.
Well,
Yes, that's exactly what I get. Yeah, that's it.
well, good evening, as I say, our transport minister, and now we were due to have our propaganda minister on, which is Nathan, but he's a little late for the show, and he's arranging a note from his parents, so that should be okay. And good evening, Mr. Paul English, and welcome to the show. Is he there? Come in,
No, I
Paul.
think it's just me at the moment. Oh,
Yeah.
Paulie is there with
Yeah,
on
yeah, you
mic.
can see him down
On
there.
mute.
Yeah, yes. He says, "Thanks." Nathan says, "Thanks. I'll be with you momentarily." So there it is. Oh, hang on. I think he's got a bit of technical trouble with Soapbox Radio because we're going live on Holy Land Radio and Holy Land FM in Wisconsin. And thanks to Patrick. And of course, we've got Paul English, who's at Soapbox Radio.
That's right.
And you're back. Yeah, that's it. And I think you were slightly off air. Is it back on air? You're okay now?
I was slightly off air. Yes, I've
you were
overcome my broadcasting embarrassment, Eric. Thank
That's
you.
good. And I hope you've got your broadcasting trousers on tonight. So we're all
Very short. Very short,
yes.
but my knees are nice and hot.
Too much information.
Too much information. Oh, what a thought.
I've just got a new carpet.
Have you really? What, you're wearing that over? You should actually put it on the floor, not round your knees.
It's not carpet burns, is it?
Yes.
No, that was. I was feeding you one there. Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
well done. Well done, Royal Anorak. Absolutely.
But no, it's as I say, Nathan's just sent the message. He'll be with us in a mo, whoever Mo is. So there we go. I'm on the way.
That's a pity. Is he coming to wreck the show? Good on him.
He's coming to wreck the show. Yes.
Is he still on the bus from yesterday?
He probably still is. He did get from Milton Keynes to wherever he is, Tyneside, pretty quick, didn't he? Last night.
Well, that was never by bus, and it probably wasn't by train either, given how crap it is at the moment.
What's your opinion of Stagecoach? That's the transport, not the cowboy and western stagecoach.
As an operator, I think they're pretty good, although the politics, how they set themselves up was not so good. They basically go and take over small businesses and small bus operators and get rid of all the employees. So their starting point wasn't so good. But they are one of the more professional, if that's the right word, bus operators.
They're supposed to be quite cheap, aren't they? I don't know. I don't know anything about them because I don't.
Stage are quite an expensive operator in terms of tickets and fares, and although with this government cap on £3 maximum fares, they're probably they're forced basically to, yeah. But they are who they are. And they're not too bad. They're not bad operators. They're not the cowboys we do see in other parts.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's it. And anyway, Paul, what have you been up to today? I mean, apart from showing your bare legs to people and walking around with your carpet, are you trying to do an impression of a Scotsman or something? I don't know. Okay. You're showing people your burger, you know.
I've had quite a good day. I was admiring a table earlier today. I do that sort of thing.
Really?
Okay. What did I do? I actually did have a very interesting day. So I went up to the shops to buy something that you're not supposed to buy, cookies or something, and they didn't have any. So I bought something healthy, but I've got a weakness for Belgian shortbread chocolate cookies. Shortbread. It's terrible, isn't it? It's all coming out now.
Yes.
I can't help it. It gets to about 11:30, and all I want is a cup of coffee and a cookie. That's it. That's my one weakness throughout the day. I went up to get one. I'd even walk. It's an excuse for the walk, because the walk's about 40 minutes there and back, which is good.
Yes.
And I think, well, I'm going to burn the cookie off, you see, when I get back. But they didn't even bloody have any, which was a bit disappointing. But on the way back, on the little parade of shops, there's a charity shop there. There's several. In fact, there's tons, I suppose, now I think about it.
I like charity shops.
Yeah, I do too. I'm kind of into them, really. I'm expecting to spend the remainder of my commercial purchasing life in them. And there was a wonderful table. There's these fantastic tables. This old Victorian stuff, people don't like it, and I love it. And
I do. I love Victorian
absolutely
stuff.
Love it. And I thought, do I want to buy this table? And I did. And then I thought, I've got nowhere to put it. I've got to clear the house out properly before I start, putting old new stuff in, or new old stuff, depending on how you look at it. It was 35 quid, this table. And it would have, it was one of those things with 2 leaves that pop up on either side. You get 8 chairs around it. It was in immaculate condition. Really well polished. I thought 35 quid for a table. So there was that. There was another one. I just get a bit carried away. I nearly bought a settee about 4 months ago. Then I realised I'd already got one. I thought, we can't have two. Can't have 2 settees in the house.
Oh, a bit like that.
Yeah. Anyway, I just like apparently people don't like it. All the more recent stuff was higher priced, and people do want to buy that. So I'm thinking, great, this is a buyer's market for someone like me.
Yeah.
And then I walked past another one which is bigger. Do you have a thing called Guild Care where you are? Do you have that chain of charity shops? No, maybe it's just down here. There's we've got a Guild Care here, which is pretty big, but on the other side of town, it's got the biggest one in England. I'm not kidding. It's absolutely enormous. I've got to go over and have a look for more stuff. It's like an Aladdin's cave of old stuff. And all the people that you meet in there are like fuddy-duddies, like we're becoming. And it's really quite cool. And they're all talking about nostalgic things. And I quite like that,
Yes.
So the conversation's good. So, but I stopped buying another one. And I've been looking for a walking stick. I'm serious right now, not because I've got bad legs or bad knees or anything, but I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, you need to get a walking stick. I said, for why? Why do I need to get a walking stick? And they said, if you get it metal tipped, it acts as an earthing mechanism when you go walking. You know how all our shoes are insulated from the... Yeah. So... I'm going to have to do something to this stick. But I was looking at sticks online this morning, saw these copper ones and everything, £125. I'm going, what? No, I just can't do this. And I thought, I wonder if they've got any in this charity shop, this larger one. So I go in, I'm looking around. They had about 15, because this is a gentrified area. And I thought, oh, yeah, there's probably likely to be a few sort of, walking sticks left over from people no longer able to live, let alone walk, I suppose. That this thing happens around here quite more frequently. And as I'm there, I'd only just walked up to it, sort of pawing through them, trying to find one that didn't have a rubber thing on the end of it. I don't want a rubber ferrule. I was looking for a metal one. And the lady, or one of the ladies, comes up and drops some more in, one of which I bought immediately for £7.50. And it's an Aztec walking stick. It's amazing. It's so heavy that if I hit you on the head with it, it would really, really hurt. It's not that I'm going to do that, Eric, because you're a long way away.
Excellent weapon for what is coming, I would say.
Yes.
Because all I've got is one of these, which is a propelling pencil.
Although you can stick it up people's jacksie and they don't even know. What's really going on?
They might enjoy it.
Particularly if it's a self-propelling pencil, they're absolutely lethal.
Yes.
Those things.
Is this the one you led in it?
Yeah.
I'll have to take a picture of it or whatever, but it's got carvings in it. I mean, it's all carved, is this thing. It's a hand-carved walking stick with an Aztec god in it and everything. And it's really heavy, very dark wood. And I've got to get a brass ferrule on it. And then I think I'm supposed to get a copper wire and wind it round the shaft all the way up to the handle, so that when I'm walking, it picks. And I just thought, why not? I'm walking loads. So I thought I'd give it a go. It is a bit odd. I feel a bit like I've suddenly become a super old fart almost instantly, by having a walking stick.
So when you go to buy a walking stick, then does it come with the mileage? Like when you buy a car, it's got a mileage on it. Does the walking? When you go and buy it from like Oxfam, I'm looking for a walking stick. It's got
It's a very good point,
500
because
miles
I don't
on the
buy things.
clock.
Yeah, it's good. I don't buy things speedily. I was haranguing with her for 45 minutes to get the price down from £8 to £7.50, because one must get.
Yeah.
No, I just bought it instantly. I didn't do that at all.
Did
There
you
was
do a
there's no
screw
mile
with
on.
it?
Not
Yeah,
haggling a bit, you know. But what gets me is when you go into these charity shops, it's full of records by Pat Boone and Brenda Lee and people that are long gone in the 50s, where they've had a house clear out and some poor
yeah,
sob bought Pat Boone records, you know.
yeah.
And
Mills
yes,
and Boone
They're
books.
they're like a time machine, the charity
they are.
shops, certain ones, and that's kind of good, and it's bumbly, and I don't know whether I should go in, because it does funny things to me. You know, when you sort of
Mm,
you see something maybe that you used to see a lot when you were young in the late 60s, or a teenager in the
that's it.
70s,
That's it.
and I see something like an old annual or something, or a game that was popular. You know, that one with
Kerplunk.
the fighting robots, where those robots
Yes.
were plastic and they used to smash.
Yes.
And as soon as I see something like that, all the adverts start from that period start to run in my head. A mousetrap and stuff like this. And
Mm,
it's a bit odd, really. It's like having your head's like an instantaneous time machine. I'm going, whoa, I've got to turn that off, because the movie starts to run really quick. So anyway, it was fun. I mean, even if it's just a great bit of wood for £7.50. It's really beautiful, actually. I couldn't
it's
believe it.
nice,
She said,
isn't it?
what about this one? I said, that's it. I'm having that. All the others are just plain canes, with the curved
Yeah.
handles or whatever.
Well, they're the
But
NHS ones, which you can get one a penny, two a penny. But did they have a game
mm,
called Tote in there? Do you remember that? Which was like
horse
horses,
racing
plastic
game.
horses, yeah.
Yep.
And it looked like a sort of knackers yard in an earthquake. Sort of you go because you used to have to vibrate the bolts. Shit, it
Yeah.
was.
This is clearly before my time. I mean, I
Yeah.
used to have things like what was it called? Buckaroo. Do you remember Buckaroo?
Oh, Buckaroo was
I do,
fantastic. I
yeah.
remember that. Yeah. But the
How,
advert, you
how,
remember the advert? The tension in the advert, don't put it on. And then, of course, it would buck, wouldn't it?
I often wonder how many people got maimed or killed by bits flying off that.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But by the way, Exo has said there's a narrowboat dude near him that
Yep.
curves and sells proper walking sticks on a bridge near him, getting
Yep.
the English tourist dollar. Now
Good
that's
on him.
interesting. Good for him, mate.
I
Good
came
for him.
across a website called Stickman in England, and he doesn't even sell the sticks. He just sells all the bits you need to make your stick. So you could
Oh,
have all these sort of brass handle bits. Like there was one that was a duck, which I found particularly attractive, but then I've always been a bit partial to a mallard. And then there were all these, you could buy boxes of brass ferrules, and I thought, do I want
mm.
brass or copper? It suddenly got incredibly complicated. I just thought, I just want to buy a stick. And then I'm going, oh God, I'm going to have to sit down for an hour and work all this out. And then
My
you
walking
go into
stick.
Amazon. Yeah, and the metal tipped ones, most of the ones that I came across that you could buy for like 20 quid, which is fine. I was quite happy to pay that. I just thought I'd go and look at the charity shop before I sort of bought something online. The metal is the spike, the spike bit for going into. So I
Yeah.
don't want a spike. In fact, then I realized I actually want both. I want a flat metal one, and then I want it interchangeable if I need a spike, when you're actually met by attackers down a dark alley.
That's
Because
right.
you have to tell them to stop. Say, can you just stop while I put the spike on the end of my stick to
Exactly.
ram through your gizzard?
Yeah.
This sounds like an episode watching the film Blind Fury. Do you remember that? Remember with Rutger
Yeah.
Hauer?
No,
Yes.
I haven't seen that.
You've never seen Blind Fury? Oh, top film that is.
No.
Rutger Hauer, yeah.
But
Oh, I like Rook. Yes.
I actually
Right.
bought a because some charity shops don't sell electrical items, but the one I used to go into, which closed down, which is a shame, was brilliant because you could haggle with them and bring the price down. And I actually got a slow cooker, an old 1970s one that had never been used. It was prestige condition,
Mm.
literally, for a fiver. And it was I think it was about £8. And I said, oh, I'll give you a fiver for it. She said, all right then. So I gave her a
Yeah.
fiver for it.
Do you know why it
And
was unused?
totally unused. Yeah.
Because it really was a slow cooker. It had taken
It
10
really
years.
was.
They died of starvation.
Takes a
Brilliant,
week.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Super,
I put this stew on
super
the
slow
week.
cooker. Yeah,
It was
it's a
so
super
old.
slow cooker. It doesn't mean it's
Yeah.
super. It means it's super slow. Takes
Well,
1 week
bloody
to cook
brilliant.
food.
Well, what gets me, it is bleeding slow as a cooker, but I tell you something, it's really good for, if you want to do your breakfast in advance or something like that. So you
Mhm.
put it on at night, and you wake up in the morning, you got nice breakfast, and you can do all kinds of things because a slow cooker is like an oven, usually like an oven. And this
I've
is
got
so
2.
old.
I've got 2. You don't have to come. I've
Yeah,
got 2. A really large one, and we've got one that's medium size.
mm,
And we've some in the past, we used to have them both going. If we were doing a lot of curry or something for people
yeah,
coming round, we'd have them all, one hot, a really spicy one in the smaller one because most of the ladies didn't want it that hot, and then, they'd come round and all that
mm,
kind of stuff. But they're fantastic. There's something
yeah,
reassuring about having this huge pot of food, if you've made a sort of
yeah,
spicy stew, that's gonna last for 2 or 3 days. It's great.
mm,
Of course, the problem with it is it's not a problem, but the food tastes better the longer it's been in the slow cooker. By the time you get to the
right,
3rd day, it's tasting so good, but there's so little of it left. It's
yeah.
infuriating.
And I'll tell you something else with a slow cooker is that, again, as you were saying, you can leave it as long as you want. It doesn't really matter. But what I do a whole chicken in one, and I put it on before I go to bed at night. And when I wake up in the morning, the chicken's cooked. And what I do after that, I carve it up, wait until it cools, put it in one of these, those bag things that you can get all the air out of. I've got one of these air
Yep.
things, and I shove it in the freezer. So I did a
Nice.
yeah. So I can actually take the thing out the freezer, bits of the chicken out of the freezer when I want it. And the slow cookers, they're cheap. They're lower on your electricity bill because you don't have to have a huge oven on.
They're just the best. We've got a recipe that I just realized the other day I've not done for about 5 years, which is Thai beef curry in the slow cooker, and
Mm,
it's a great way
mm.
to get the beef really soft, like
Yeah.
stewing beef and stuff like that.
Well, you
So,
get yeah.
although I'm gonna go to the local butchers because I'm happy to pay more for good meat these days. I really am. I don't mind.
Mm.
So, but Thai, oh, it's great. It's got coconut in it and all this. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, I'm salivating thinking about it, and I've just eaten
Oh,
about an hour ago.
yeah.
Dear me.
I tell you that, have you ever done roast potatoes in a slow cooker or cooked bread?
Oh, no.
I've cooked bread in a slow cooker, and it comes out. It's a bit sort of bit hard around the edges, but it comes out perfectly. You can do all kinds of things like that. It's surprising. It takes 3 hours in the slow cooker to do bread.
It's obviously
So
a Fockham thing, is that? I've never
it's a
heard.
fucking
It's
thing. Yeah.
outrageous. Somebody sent me, apparently not now. I think is it National Panasonic or something? They make
Mm.
a bread cooking machine. Apparently it's one of the
A bread
best
maker.
ones.
Mm.
Yeah, bread maker. Sorry. Yeah, what an idiot. And about 125 quid, and I'm seriously thinking about getting one. I don't know whether it's not that we eat a lot of bread, but
Um,
I know that every time I do, I'm never really happy with it. I'm just always feeling a bit bloated, and it all depends where you buy it from. I'll tell you, here's another thing. Obviously, this housewives' choice tonight so far, isn't it? I buy,
yeah.
paninis. Those, so you get a
Yes.
bag of 4 of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the ones from Iceland are the best ones. They're really good. They've got no crap in them at all, and
Really?
yeah, they were really, really good. I
I'm
toasted
trying
some
it
this
tomorrow.
morning, and breakfast was one of those toasted with 4 scrambled eggs. I just piles of scrambled eggs, and I
Mm.
like them slightly sloppy. I can't stand it when scrambled eggs are dry. They're unbelievable. You can't eat them, can you? They just go.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's right.
So just lots of butter and salt and pepper, and it was just. I sound as though I'm starving. I'm not really. I've eaten okay
Yeah,
today,
I know what
but
you
the
mean.
eggs were
That's,
fantastic. Yeah,
well,
they were
Need to
I
find
gave
fun.
up.
yourself. Have you got a
Mm,
local market by either of you? Because
mm,
if I either use our farm shop down at not far from here, where they
Yeah.
do their own meats and stuff like that, or I go and use Shrewsbury Market, and in there you can I can get my entire week shopping in there for
yeah.
40, 50 quid. But they do like you're saying about like the stewing steak and things like, oh, it's amazing, and lamb and these
Oh yeah, we don't have
lamb
anything like
kidneys.
that. We don't have anything. We've
No.
got farm shops, Paul, but we
Mm,
don't have anything like that. I wouldn't mind something like that. A market's, it's the energy in those places. With everybody. Well, I just
mm.
remember it as a kid when everybody's shouting. I used to go down to Leeds Market. Well, I was. My mum would drag me down there on a Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
It was absolute murder for me because I was sloping off and wanted to go and read all the comic books and all the newsstands. And my mum was going, "Get over here," and all that kind of stuff. But the shouting is intoxicating. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
fantastic. I just love the energy of everybody. Get over here, mate. We've got to get rid of these, all that kind of stuff. There's a real sense of energy and
Mm.
hustle about it. And it's
And
really,
when
you
they
hear a lot of language when
That's
you're a
right.
kid that you never heard before. I don't mean foul language. I just mean patterns of, it's wonderful. And
See,
also, sorry,
so I was gonna say, see, ours isn't necessarily the one in Shrewsbury isn't necessarily a shouty one. It's just
you're
you
posh.
know where
You're
everything
posh in
is, and
Shrewsbury.
There's
Yeah.
a couple of butchers in there. The one I use is just amazing. I
Really?
can't remember what they're called.
There's no
And then
butchers
Well,
where it might have
and then
market.
there's one there's actually 4 or 5 in the market within the market,
really?
and one of them I use does
Yeah.
cooked meats, and I get 5 or 6 pieces of beef brisket. Oh, I'll tell you what, that that is just amazing. It melts.
Usual
You put it
bread.
on your sandwich and it just melts. Oh, it's amazing, amazing taste,
But
beautiful.
Aunt Sally has just said, are those paninis you're talking about in the freezer or in the usual bread, Paul?
Usual bread. So you've got to
Usual bread.
cook them. You've got to get rid of them in a couple of days because they will go pear shaped and everything. But we
Well,
do. So, yeah.
I
Well,
gave up.
I enjoyed them. I got them some from Aldi. I don't know. They're a bit sort of starchy or something. They don't cook
Mm.
quite so good. The Tesco's ones are a bit. I don't know.
Full of
I don't know.
chemicals. I mean, I gave
Probably,
up
yeah. But my
eating
son
bread.
is checking everything out. He looks at the thing, the packaging on the Iceland ones, and goes, "Hey, these have got nothing in them apart from what's supposed to be in them." I'm going, "Good, that's good."
That's what you
So
need. But I gave up eating bread about a year ago. But
mhm.
I am experimenting with linseed bread, which
Oh,
Dr. Myhill showed how to make. And you can experiment with your own breads without yeast and things like that. It's not that I'm yeast intolerant or anything like that. It's just that I gave up bread for this diet that I'm on, keto diet, and
yeah,
it's
I should give
I
it
feel
up.
great.
I always feel bloated, or
Mm.
I don't know. It's difficult. I don't know what to have for breakfast really, and I like marmalade. This is a
Well,
problem.
with a keto diet,
Mm,
the secret
just eat.
is you have an enormous breakfast, which is protein, mainly protein, and try and give up the carbohydrates. But you don't, I mean, you have a little few carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrates, I might have a wrap occasionally or something like that. But I don't buy bread anymore. I don't have bread dairy now. I used to, although if I can get hold of raw milk, I'll have it. Have it. So
Yeah,
when I'm up near the farm where it does raw milk, I'll get some. But I don't have milk from the supermarket because, quite honestly, all you're paying for when it's homogenised and all that crap is water, because that's about as much goodness it is for you. It's
yeah,
just you
you're
pay.
probably right. I
Yeah.
mean, I only use milk to go in my tea. That's it. I know
Mm.
people say, "Oh, you can't ruin tea by putting milk in it." Well, I can, and I prefer it that way. I don't use sugar. I don't have sugar in my tea. I've never had
I don't have
sugar, but
sugar, but I have to have milk. So what I do, I have the. But trouble is, I've noticed that these bloody oat milks have got a load of sunflower oil and rapeseed
yep,
oil in it. It's
yep,
bad for you.
they're no good.
So I'm going back to the raw milk from the farm, which is a lot better. The other thing you give up is wheat based and sugar. Sugar is the main thing that you give up. I don't
Hmm.
have sugar.
Because bread turns to sugar, and same with potatoes. The starchy
Mm.
stuff turns to sugar,
Yeah, but at least it's
and
not
Oh
things
yeah,
like
I
tangy.
know.
pasta.
But who are you
Pasta's
going to be
shit.
able to give up potatoes? Do you eat potatoes, Eric? Paul? Do you eat
Yeah,
them?
I do.
occasionally. Yeah, but not all the time. Just
I
occasionally.
love them.
That's the thing.
I love
But
spuds.
I mean, this morning I had a bloody great pile of food, and then I have a little snack lunchtime, and that's it. I haven't eaten since about 1:30 today, and I'll go through to
But
tomorrow morning.
of course, the other thing is if you can fast, that's another option as well because
Mm,
that's what breakfast is. You break fast.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
if you can, I mean, on a Saturday when I'm out and about, I can do pretty much 24 hours without eating, and it doesn't bother me anymore. Not these days. Used to, but yeah, if you can avoid bread, I'm just having a look at them in because you're Chichester way, aren't you, Paul, or some of that way. I'm seeing what markets are available on that area.
Yeah, well, we've got some good farm shops around here, and we've got two good. We've got 3 or 4 actually good local butchers. I have to go a little way to get to them, but they're not too far off. And I just mean to start patronising one of them. Really, I just can't make my mind up. I mean, the food bill that we've got at the moment, I don't know. I think it's gone down, but I've just simplified everything because I can't be faffed with stuff. I've really got into
Mm,
these fancy soups. You know, these expensive soups that you can get.
mhm.
I mean, maybe they've got crap in them or not. There's one called Yorkshire Provender. Provender. It's also grandiose. But because I got fed up of sort of pasta sauces. I don't know why we're talking about food, but we are, aren't we? But so what did I have tonight? I get some Italian sausages, chicken sausages. I don't eat pork anymore. Fry them in butter. Then I chop them all up with scissors, like into little 10p
Mhm.
pieces, and drop them into the soup. And then I got some potatoes, parboiled them, fried them in the butter. Sometimes I'll fry them in coconut oil, then drop them in the whole thing, and it's like this. It's just fantastic, and that's all I had. I don't have anything else with it. It's not much. I'm noticed, obviously, I'm at that age. I've stopped thinking that I'm going to eat like a 25-year-old. It's taken a long time. It's taken an awful long time, piling your plate up and everything. I'm going, I don't need to eat this amount of food anymore. It's ridiculous. So I've kind of cut it down. So it's eggs. I have eggs. I have 4 eggs every other day. Because I don't want to eat them every day because they're a bit of a treat. If I eat them every day, I'll get bored with it. So I have 4 eggs for breakfast every other day. And then I don't eat lunch. I'll just have a cup of tea for lunch and a shortbread cookie.
It's the keto diet, though, is going 16 hours without food. That's basically it. I mean, I lost 1.5 stone in a week. And,
right.
Sorry, in 2 weeks, not a week, in 2 weeks. But my blood pressure's okay now. I've never felt better. And but the thing is, in the morning, in the breakfast, I have a bloody great breakfast. But it's mainly protein. I have lentils and
yeah. I had lentils in my soup tonight, which was good. Your lentils I love lentils. They're absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
I see that. What Aunt Sally writes there that she gave up dairy. I see you've pinned that. I gave up dairy and all. No milk in my tea. I'll tell you what I started, Sally. What I started putting in both coffee and tea. Although I still keep slopping milk into it every now and again. But in coffee, black coffee, if you put a knob of butter, I think that's the technical phrase,
that's right,
and some coconut oil.
That's what I do.
It's absolutely fantastic.
I agree with you.
It's brilliant. And that apparently that burns calories off really good. My sons are really into coffee, and we've got 2 coffee making pots in the house. They got one of these sort of, I don't know what you call them, these modern things where you get 1 or 2 cups out of it. And it's just, I hate the bloody thing. It's just awful. They're always using it. I went and bought a proper stainless steel percolator. And I said, if you make it, I'm only going to drink if it comes out of the percolator because I think the coffee comes out of it wonderful. You've got to make a lot more, but then that's not hardship, is it?
You know, there's Italian mocha things. Well, I got one that's stainless steel, so you don't have the aluminium. And what I've actually found, what's that famous Italian coffee? It begins with V. I can't remember what it's called. But you buy it from the local supermarket, and you think, it's just coffee. I buy it from an Italian shop. And it's exactly the same, but it's all in Italian. So it's imported from Italy. And it tastes fantastic and completely different to what you buy in the local supermarket, showing that we get the crap and the Italians get the good stuff. Yeah. Seriously. And it's cheaper than the supermarket. And you think, bloody hell, this is delicious. And it's, can't think what it's called, the something. And,
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. And that you get it all over the place, but it tastes like what you would get in a restaurant. Really nice. And you look at it, and it's all in Italian. There's no English on it at all. So
one of my sons has started to buy some. I think it's classed as an organic coffee. It's pretty fantastic, actually. It's definitely a lot more expensive, but I just. And then he was saying, do you know how much antioxidants there are in a cup of this coffee? I'm going, no. He said 60 times the amount from 4 oranges. It's absolutely crammed with antioxidants. So I'm thinking, black coffee, black chocolate, 70, 80%. And the sort of shopping list is really simplified. I don't want to eat food all the time. It's really irritating, isn't it? You know what I mean? I've got to eat now. All this stuff that you've been talking about that we've been trained to eat 3 times a day. I'm down to really about twice a day. I could probably reduce that to 1.5 or something, and to go for better quality stuff. And although it costs a little bit more, I think in the long run it's worth it, to be quite honest.
Well, if our farm shop's anything to go by, one of my friends at work, he now goes and uses the same farm shop I go to, and he said to me, the taste, when you do your meals, he said it tastes so much nicer. And I do most nights I do a casserole of some sort. Tonight was a lamb casserole, bit of lamb, there was a potato in there this time. What else I put in there? Carrot, beetroot, cabbage, sprouts. Love sprouts. And then I just pile it up with
fun at both ends. Sprouts, aren't they?
Absolutely,
that's right.
And then the entertainment.
Pile it with things like cayenne pepper and cloves and turmeric and Celtic salt. Plenty of Celtic salt. It's amazing.
Yes,
beautiful meal.
That coffee, thanks for Asperger's as fudge, is Lavazza.
Lavazza.
That's
Yes.
Lavazza. And
Have
did
you-
you know Aunt Sally asked the milkman because she baths in milk, and he said, "Do you want pasteurised?" She said, "No, I'd be lucky if it comes up to me waist." Sorry, that's a terrible one.
Yeah, dear.
I had to change my diet.
Sorry.
That's okay. Now, this is only between Aunt Sally and us, so nobody else knows this. But she had to change it. I had to change my diet because of gut issues. No dairy, wheat, sugar, alcohol, or yeast for 18 months. I've lost 3 stone, and I'm now struggling to maintain my weight. I'm skinnier than I want to be. There's not many ladies that can say that. And
You just need some nice lard sandwiches, Aunt Sally. That'll get you back up to shape.
hey,
Nice
that's
lard
it.
Cream.
sandwiches.
Clotted
Hey.
cream will do it. That's I like my clotted cream.
It's not a bad way to go, that. Clotted
Yeah,
cream.
and Aunt Sally, she says, "What is it now? Cool. I'm going to Iceland tomorrow. It's a long way to go, isn't it? To go to Iceland. I mean, do you fly from Scotland? No, I'm only joking. It's the stores. I said to get my old people's 10% discount. You're not an elderly person, Aunt Sally. I thought you was a mere young maiden, a young lady. I will get some of those paninis for my son. I gave up bread 18 months ago.
Would it be
Yes.
better paying for them rather than sort of swapping them for your
Yes.
son?
It's a good swap, though. Yeah, you have my son. Here he is.
Take it with. I often wonder that when you see on the trains where it says baby changing facilities. This one's a bit noisy. Can you take it back? I'll have that one instead.
Well, I don't know what's happened to our guest tonight, who is going to speak about the propaganda Twilight Zone. He's going to talk about it. And Nathan, is he?
He's probably been propagandized on the way here, been brainwashed, taking the wrong turn on the A43, and he's ended up in Totnes.
He slagged off Stagecoach, and they've probably sent out a hitman for him by bus, of course.
This is true. In the 70s, there was I never liked that program. That's Life with Lester Ransyd. But there was one thing that actually got me off my seat with laughter. An elderly couple went for a week's holiday to some place, and they used to have these mystery coach trips where you'd pay and you get on a coach, you don't know where it's going.
Oh yeah,
and the coach trip went to the village where they lived. So went back home.
You'd be gutted, wouldn't you? Oh, thanks.
I don't know. They might have seen it all with new eyes. I remember a few years back, 10, 15 years back now, I'm up in the pub with someone. We'd sort of just moved here, and I didn't know everybody in the pub. And the guy said, "See that guy over there?" And he was having a right good time. I said, "Yeah." He said, "He's on his holidays." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What do you mean he's on his holidays?" He said, "Oh, he lives here. He actually lives in the town, but every year he takes his holiday in the town.
Yeah.
Right? 2 weeks off. And he goes out and he pretends he's on holiday as if he'd gone to a holiday seaside town, right? And he acts like a tourist in the town. So he goes and does all the sorts of things that you would do there. I thought, and they said, "Why do you do that?" He said, "Well, I know where everything is. It's really convenient for me. It's great. I have a great time." So, not a very adventurous soul, of course, but he was very, very happy about it. Yes.
Well, Hachi says, beans are good for your heart. Beans make you fart. Yes, I'd say that. And anyway, did you hear about... got this thing about Nathan. Did you hear about the... oh, shit, it's on.
Oh, sorry. I think I've joined the wrong show. I didn't realise I was on Eric Von Essex cooking channel. It's
Yes, it's ladies cooking channel tonight.
Yeah, we just wanted to know what recipes you were bringing for disaster, Nathan. That's what we want to know. What should
I am the recipe
tonight?
for disaster.
Eric
I am the recipe.
This is Eric Von Bake Coffee.
He says, "I'm selling your laugh on eBay for 23 quid, £33 a megabyte."
Nice.
All right. What about a giggle?
Interesting. Can you sell some stuff for me, mate? Because eBay doesn't seem to work anymore. So I'll take 23 grand at this point. What's with Rumble Studio inverting my camera, and because it's put me all the way over there for reasons unknown. How do I change that around? Because I'm halfway off the screen.
Oh, that's easy.
It's probably the early days of digital ID, Nathan. You've been clocked. They've twisted it round. They're already interfering with your life. That's what's going on.
Oh, they've already done that, mate.
Can you sit the other side? Can you just sit the other side?
I'll sit. Yeah. I'll just turn the laptop around so that I'm off the screen. Yeah, you can have a nice picture of my telly and stuff. How about that? Hey, Paul.
Nice lampshade, by the way.
Oh well, yeah, it would be, but it's like I was going to do that, but I felt like I was on a spotlight or something. I
don't know what to do. It might be something to do with your camera. I really don't know. But
shocking.
Yeah, but Aunt Sally's now rubbing in a wound. I've had to go for counselling for this because Aunt Sally, between you and I, makes gorgeous cakes, and they're all healthy, and there's no sugar and no shit in them. It says shit free, And she said, I do make myself a lovely chocolate brownie with sweet potatoes and raw organic cacao.
Cacao.
I eat that every day.
Can I ask? Is this a Mandela effect?
Isn't it?
Sorry, just 2 seconds.
What people with a stutter say.
Cacao.
Cacao. Right.
Yeah.
I was always brought up with that being cocoa. Right. Yeah. It was always said cocoa until about 5 years ago, and suddenly it's cacao.
No, it's
a different butter, though, aren't you?
Cocoa is a clown.
Cocoa is a clown. Anyway, well, yeah.
No, actually,
we are in the world after all. I mean, steady.
When you go to your local supermarket and say, "I want some cocoa and some cacao," that'll confuse the hell out of them.
Cocoa.
They bring them on
Chinese.
Cocoa. Okay.
It's like a bloke who walked into a cake shop and said, "I like a gattox, please." I said, "Gattox?" He said, "Sorry, sir, you mean a gatto, don't you?" He said, "No, I want a gattox." So he said, "Gattox? I demand a gattox. This is part of my human rights. This is discrimination." And he said, "Oh, sorry, sir, sorry." So he goes behind. He says, "Oh yeah, Bert." He said, "There's a bleeding nutter out there wants a gattox." He says, "See that shitty old bit of cake that flies have been over all day?" He said, "Let's sell him that." So he said, "All right." So it's all this sort of, you can sort of see it, artificial cream on it. "Sir, you are quite correct. The customer's always right. We've got our last gattox here," he said, "and you can have it for £20. £20? He said, "Bollo." Sorry. No, it's not very good one, is it?
Can I ask you? What? Sorry, I'm looking through the.
Oh, have you? Are you?
50 pence has run out.
Now. Yeah. Oh, put another penny in. Put another 10pence in. You get it running. Anyway,
he needs to put some money in the meter. He's just run out of electricity. It's terrible, isn't it?
Aunt Sally took some cakes in for me, and I didn't get to Miles because we meet each other in Miles occasionally, in Miles's shop occasionally, and I didn't get to Miles's shop, so bleeding Miles at them.
He's got
how many? When you go to Miles, how many miles is it to Miles? That's what I want to know.
Well, Miles and Piles, I'm about 3.5, 4 miles from Miles and his Piles.
Are you?
About 4 miles. And hang on, no, correction, I'm wrong. It's 5 miles, just under 5 miles.
5 miles to Miles. That's quite nice. Okay.
And I often go on my bike. So
don't rhyme that. That's no good.
5 miles.
And when you've been to see Miles, you come out with plenty of smiles. Is that right?
That's right. Yes. And did you know the oldest living Irishman? They found his tombstone, and it says he was 159, and his name was Miles from Dublin. So there we go.
Very good.
That's made up for the Gattox joke, isn't it? Yeah. It's not. It's an old.
You've redeemed yourself with that one.
Yeah. Now, apparently, there is a difference between cocoa. Here we are, Aunt Sally. Cacao is raw and unadulterated from the bean. Cocoa has been interfered with, added to, and toasted. So there we go.
No wonder he dressed up like a clown if he's been interfered with.
Oh yes.
How long ago was it? You know, when one goes to sleep at night,
Mhm.
when was the last time you drank something like cocoa, hot chocolate, Ovaltine? What's the other one? Horlicks?
Horlicks,
Something
yes.
like that. When was the last time you drank one of those milky bedtime drinks to make you go to sleep? Was it a long,
Bloody,
long
uh,
time ago?
bloody hell! When I was about 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
quite nice though. It's quite a treat. Maybe I'll get
Yeah.
back into it. Get a nice, get some slippers, pipe,
Yeah.
cocoa.
Mind you, that's how you get VD of the tongue, isn't it? A venereal disease of the tongue with late night Horlicks. Sorry, rude joke there. Yeah, sorry.
See, I'd
You said
imagine
that
they're
wouldn't have
having
gone down
things.
well in our living room.
No.
I'd imagine they're having things like that give you a lot of phlegm and stuff to go to bed with.
Oh
So-
yeah, I love
Yeah.
phlegm though. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing. You don't need to take it
Well,
out on phlegm. Phlegm's good.
Normally I go to bed and I'm sort of off to sleep like this, but I did go through a short time when my brain was going. Brrr, I couldn't get off to sleep, so I bought one of these things to help you get off to sleep. And I had to bung
mallet.
No, I had a bleeding sleepless night because of it.
The trick is to learn. So I used to have real issues with sleep many years ago, and in the last sort of 5 or 6 years, I've lost all my. I don't get pissed off with anything and get angry with anything, and a lot of it's down to what you eat and what you watch and the screens and things like that. But also just trying to relax and use your breathing, slow breathing, and that sort of thing works every time.
It does.
Mhm.
And one thing that also, another thing that can help is rum. Rum's quite good. Things like
And
that.
also massaging that part. Have I got that right? That part of your underneath your finger.
Well, I've got to come over and massage part of your hand for me
That's
to
right.
go to
Yes.
sleep.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
a
That's
big
right.
queue of people
Yes.
outside of your house who can't drop off.
Well,
Go massage Eric's wrist, you'll be fine.
that's right. Well, it's a bit like, when I was on your show, Paul, when you said, I'm very, very worried because wherever I go, people always say, "See you later." No, they don't all turn up at my house at the same time. Have you noticed that? Everybody going, "Oh, see you later." Will I? No, I won't. I'm just coming to buy something in your shop. I'm going to piss off. I won't see you later. Why do I say "see you later"? It's a new saying,
One of the
Could be
things
a lot
I
worse.
say to, do you ever, when you bump into someone and have a, like in a lift or anywhere, you're bumbling around somewhere new and you just you just exchange a few words.
Yeah.
I often end it with "bye" and we'll never ever meet again ever. I like to say that to people ever, and they laugh. I go, yeah, this will never happen ever again. This is the last you'll ever see of me and me of you. It's been amazing. It's sort of really ham it up.
Well,
It's always quite
when
fun.
when you
Quite like that.
freelance and you end the contract,
Mm.
standard people say, "Bye, have a nice life," because they know they'll never see you.
Yeah.
But sometimes
Have
you did meet people that you thought you wouldn't see, and you would see them again in a different contract, and it's quite
Yeah.
small. Yeah.
Have you both
so-
considered joining the Samaritans? Because I'll tell you what, you won't be able to get a train down the line for falling bodies.
Now, Mark Anthony says, was you using a recording of Queer Starmer to help you off to sleep?
I bet Jimmy Savile does.
He's back.
He's back. Is it
Don't ask. Don't bloody
Another
ask. I
50
have no idea.
pence.
Is it a deodorant? I don't know what was it the doily part? You actually heard it? I don't know. But
It was all of it. Yeah, it's just I don't know what happened. I was still in the studio, but everything just went nope. You're out. So
I thought
figure.
you'd probably, I thought you'd probably changed into your superhero role, whatever it is, and had to go off and do a job and come back, and now you're back in your alter ego of Nathan Lucius.
You
That's what I
promised
was
you'd never
thinking.
mention that on air. You
I
swore
know.
to me
Well,
you'd
you
never
still
mention
haven't
my
told me what your
super identity.
superpowers are, but they must be considerable. But yes, that's what I
Great,
thought
it's
was
annoying
going
people.
what
Wasn't a
I
50
like
pence moment then.
was the man from
50
Uncle. Do you remember do you remember the man from Uncle whose deadly enemy
Yes.
was Thrush?
Good God.
Seriously,
God.
if you look at that show, yes, their deadly enemy is thrush. You know. Now,
I've definitely come through the wrong Twilight Zone here, haven't I? I've fallen through the wrong rabbit hole tonight, I
right.
think.
The
Well,
jokes have got worse.
shall
Worse
we
than
start?
mine.
We've not said anything sensible or intelligent since the show started, and it's been great
I did
fun.
notice,
It's
yeah.
been good.
Yeah, Aunt Sally does some weird things. She's got to pick up my son. I'll be listening on my phone and not in the chat. What? Couldn't you get a hydraulic lift to lift him up in your house? I mean, why do you have to
He's
lift
just
why do you have
fallen
to pick him
over.
up? Yes.
I
Don't
know.
forget,
It
to
just
take the
falls over.
paninis back with you then.
Yes.
Good luck
but-
with your son retrieval duties, Aunt Sally.
Yes. Now,
Retreat.
what I was going to say is
Oh, come on.
the propaganda Twilight Zone. I did an article today on Telegram. I thought it might ruffle a few feathers, but it didn't. People just accepted it. That's it. So, oh yeah.
What was it? Because I decided to
through.
remove myself from most of the Telegram groups for a while because it was just like a bombardment of shite.
I sent it to you actually. I actually sent it to
Did
you.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the essay that you're right. Okay, yeah. You did send me an essay before the show, and I'm like,
Yeah.
not today. Anyway, but I did get the gist of it. So
Yes.
there we go.
What's this? Was it?
People are loving the red background. I see. So this is what usually trips people out. So my room is red and blue. It does look as if I've been painting the walls like some kind of serial killer.
Well, actually, to be quite honest, Nathan, it looks like you're running a brothel, but I didn't want to bring it up.
That's right.
Well, I'll be richer if I was.
It's like the two Irishmen opened a pub and no one drunk there. And they said, what the bloody hell are we going to do? Hey, Mick, go to Dublin and find out how to get the people into the pub. He said, I think I'll do that. So he went to Dublin and a little while later he comes back. He says, have you found out? He says, yes, we'll open a brothel. He said, don't be stupid. If people won't drink beer, how do you expect them to drink broth? Sorry.
Dear.
I mean, apart from your terrible accent, I mean, we can forgive that, I guess. We'll just,
sound like Terry
I don't think we can, Nathan. Nathan, I don't think we can.
I'm trying. It's his
I
show,
think
man.
you're a
I'm
bit
trying to
too
be polite.
lenient there. That's a bit outrageous. That's.
That's that. I thought he was French.
Yeah, but to be fair, Paul, you think that Stagecoach is a wonderful service. I mean, I don't know whether that's classed as a mental illness. No, do you drive? Just curious, like serious, do you drive?
I can drive. I haven't driven for years. I use public transport.
Well, that's even worse. So, hold on a minute. So you can drive, but you choose to use public transport. I mean, you must be in the only part of this country that actually has a decent transport system then, because everywhere else it's crap.
To be honest with you, the public transport system works. It's the cars that are on the roads that stop the public transport.
You're spouting the agenda now. You can't do that.
And it's passengers. Passengers will get on the bus and say, "Why are you running late?" And the driver says, "Well, because people like you get on the bus and say, why are you running late?"
Yeah. You know,
that takes time.
Paul's
I was
playing
say,
a role
they're going to start calling him a
secretly in
shill
the
for
background.
Stagecoach.
Well, it takes me. It would normally take me about 20 minutes to get to the local town by car.
Mm.
It takes me about 25 to 30 minutes by push bike to get to the town, and to go by bus it takes 3/4 of an hour. Seriously.
Yeah,
it goes
and that's if it turns up on time.
That's if it turns up.
Yeah.
I think Paul is probably behind the push for 15-minute cities. I think.
I think
so.
I
think he's actually. I know he's not said it here, but it's all beginning to. As he was commenting then, it was beginning to fall into place. Too many cars on the roads. Yeah, let's get back to
not
cubic transport and all that kind of stuff.
Travel how they wish, but
I'll tell you, do you ever see any of those videos of people from the States going around the UK and being sort of bedazzled by the number of castles and things like that? You ever catch any of that kind of stuff? They're quite interesting because you get a reflection back on England that we absolutely don't have because you're completely, everything's just familiarity breeds contempt. One of the comments, though, that's come back quite regularly is how impressed they are with public transport. I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means, but they are. And they go into it in specific detail. They say, I can catch a bus and I can do this. And I can get on. Of course, they're in and around London where they can catch a tube if you wanted to. I hate traveling by tube. I mean, I loved it when I first came down, but that's donkeys years ago. But in the end, so it's all a matter of perspective and expectations.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're correct. If we expect the buses to be terrible, we won't be disappointed, and the buses are terrible. So there is that,
I think it depends on where you are.
I used to love the old double deckers, though. The ones with the Darwinian footstep. I call it that because it's survival of the fittest. You could run along the road and leap onto the bus as it pulled off. I go, that's too dangerous. It was fun. It was one of the most fun things ever, particularly coming back from Leeds on a night after a few beers, and the last bus is pulling out. We're all be going, and everybody's just turning it down the road to leap onto the back of the bus. That was fun. And the bus conductors always smoking cigarettes. They're always smoking cigarettes. I loved all that. I loved it. And whistling pointlessly. That whistling the conductors did that was always, I loved all that. Miss all that stuff.
I saw something. I shouldn't laugh, but the bloke wasn't injured. The only thing that was injured was his pride. And I've never seen anything quite like it. There's this bus lane, and this was when I worked in London, you see, and somehow this fella had run across, an angle to the bus that was just pulling away, grabbed hold of the handrail, but missed the step. So he was, I don't know quite how, but he was, his back was in the road, and he's there with his briefcase hanging on to the back of this rail. That sort of that rail that you used to grab hold of. And the bus conductor, ding, 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 stop the bus. And when he stood up. I mean, why the bloke didn't let go, I don't know. When he stood up, it's a bit like something out of Dick Emery, where the front of him was okay, but the back of him, he had his trousers all ripped, his back all ripped, and his underpants there. It's like a sort of, how he got home, I do not know. I shouldn't laugh, but and he was just standing there, and he said, couldn't you stop the bus? I was having an argument. And this bloke with his arse hanging out of the back of his trousers.
Well, you know why he didn't let go, don't you?
Why?
Well, because if he did let go, he'd have to wait another hour for a bus to turn up.
Well, precisely. I mean, I actually hate all public transport. I hate trains, buses, even aeroplanes. I would prefer to be in my own car, picking my own nose where I can stick bogies underneath the seat and enjoy listening to Mozart or Wagner or anything I want to listen to. Be in heaven like this, instead of sitting on a noisy, smelly box full of irritating, smelly people. Sorry, I'm a snob.
It's no need to call me an irritating, smelly person. Come on, I do get a show when you know.
I think the design of public transport is not good compared to what it was. I am an old fart, but I remember railway carriages with compartments, which was just an absolute blast. And no one sat around moaning about the fact that it was slow and trains were late, but it was all part of the fun of it, to be quite honest. And then double-decker buses were just brilliant. I mean, there were loads of people. Of course, they used to be basically a cancer ward, didn't they, upstairs? Everyone was just completely, you got there, it's just clouds of smoke. It's great. So let's get upstairs to have a ciggy. Yeah, all right. And so you sat there, if you don't smoke, you just sort of stink. But I kind of liked all that. At least they were lively places. I didn't find people obnoxious. I mean, if I did, I'd get on the next bus or something. But I know what you mean. But now I just find the design of all these things, they're just anemic. It's like traveling around a sort of hospital ward. Everything's just sort of, it's not fun. It hasn't got wobbly bits and things that I want.
You can't open a bloody window. That's what annoys me. You're sitting on a train. You can't open a bleeding window and things like that. But Gary Garner says, been years since I heard anyone whistling a pleasant tune. I agree. My dear old granddad loved whistling a tune. Yes, right. Used to be happy in what they did.
It's because they're all on that. They're all addicted to their phones.
Getting back to...
They've stopped whistling.
We're getting up to the hour.
I think we need to bring...
Sorry, carry on.
I think we need to bring our public transport like it is in mainland Europe. Mainland Europe works. And wherever you travel, any city, your railway station is the centre of it all. And your trams, your buses, your underground, whatever it is, all connect. And that's what I do understand where you're coming from, Nathan, and I do get the frustrations of public transport. I see it as well. I get really pissed off when trains are randomly cancelled because of leaves on the line. That's bullshit,
Leaves on
basically.
the line.
It
The
really
thing
it
is,
is,
though,
and it's because
well,
modern trains are designed to be lightweight, and they've got what they call disc brakes, like your car's got it. So when they put the brakes on, the train slides. The old style stuff, like Paul was just mentioning, they worked because they were basically mechanical vehicles that actually did the job they were designed to do. And public transport can and should work, but we've got a government and successive governments who don't want it to work, which is why freight goes by road, and it shouldn't do. Trains are
No,
the
it
answer
shouldn't.
to
I'm completely with you on that. It shouldn't.
I agree.
There was a whole
Beeching,
movement around that,
Beeching.
though, moving all the freight off the railways and use it as an excuse to shut all those railway lines down.
That was Beeching. Beeching. He cut it back in 1963.
I mean, if you look
Beeching.
back at what we used to have, every time we used to have a network called Speedlink, which was basically, if you look at America, and I know Patrick's not on here tonight, but American freight trains are made up of individual wagons from individual customers to make up a mile-long train. Every time that our freight operators have tried to do that, the government have stepped in and said, "Oh, you need to cancel that. It's not going to work." They're never given the chance to do it and the simple reason is because the government make more money out of tax from every lorry that's on the road, tax, MOT, fuel. All these lorries need to be fueled, etc. They don't.
It's money.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want
But
freight on the rails because rails basically get rid of loads of money to the government.
I 100%, and they had it into a fine art. What they was planning to do is put all these the containers from the ships on the trains, and then the trains would go into a depot, and lorries would pick up these containers and distribute them locally. So you'd only have local lorries going around,
and that's
that
how
was
it should be.
logical.
You shouldn't have
That's right.
HGVs working from London up to Scotland. That they should be for that distance. It should be put on a train, and then the lorries just transfer it from a depot to the local
Correct.
customer. And that's how it should work.
You're definitely going to be the transport minister, Paul. Definitely.
You definitely will be. But what we're going to say tonight, the propaganda Twilight Zone, we've been an hour and we still haven't got to the subject.
Well, this is propaganda. It was propaganda that you put out. You said we were going to talk about propaganda, but that was propaganda. We're not. We've been talking about cooking. So
that's right.
So you've illustrated the point by actually not delivering what we propagandized we were going to deliver. Yeah. Great. Brilliant.
Well, there's our propaganda minister who's just disappeared for a few moments. He's come back again.
I know. Shocking.
That was a quick slash, wasn't it? Blimey.
I didn't know because I was starting. No. I just thought it'd be not rude and answer the message without doing it on screen. So I've just had a message.
I see.
I do want to say something about the transport system, which Paul will probably, I suspect we'll all agree with. We've got this, climate change, New World Order agenda. Else you being kicked off YouTube now after I've said that. But we've got all the sustainability, smart cities, all the rest of it. And so they're trying to convince everyone that they want the cars off the road, which means that for people to get around, they need to use public transport, except we've probably got one of the worst public transport systems imaginable. Somebody mentioned in the comments just that the buses are always full, and freezing. It's not like you can afford the heating on the buses these days. Now they're all turning into electric vehicles as well on top of that. It's like they're trying to convince us that they mean well whilst doing the exact opposite to make sure that the transport is unsustainable. It's horrible. Oh, go away. Sorry, I'm getting plagued by Microsoft now. Go away. There we go. Sod off. Wants me to update in the middle of a podcast. It wants me to update my computer. That's a great.
I had that last night. But I like, I mentioned this last night as well. In Luxembourg, they've decided to issue free public transport, and it's emptied their roads almost overnight because people are thinking, if it's free, not why bother? And if we had a situation where all our freight went by train and we had local depots where lorries delivered locally, and we had free public transport, the roads would be empty. And if it was free, they would have more buses and things like that, and more trains, and it'd be like Japan, where their transport system works at a loss, but they don't look at it like that because it's essential for the infrastructure of the country. So they look on it from, yes, it does make a loss, but if we didn't have it, then most of
Society
our
would grind to a halt,
industry
right?
would grind to a halt. So
Yeah.
I think that is the best way forward.
And
Because
I know in the chat there, somebody's mentioned about the cost of it as well. And I was showing somebody
yeah,
at work this because they travelled from to work in where I live. They travelled from Peterborough across to Shropshire, and that cost them 125 quid. And I just showed them. I said, I'll give you an example of when I used to go over to the Czech Republic on a regular basis. You could purchase a ticket from the south of the country to the far north of the country, and I showed them this the other week, 20 quid.
bloody hell.
That's how you get people out of cars and out of use public transport. Make it cheap.
And I bet it's good
Day,
quality. I bet it's clean and neat and tidy,
yeah,
nice
and you've got
lavatories.
trains with opening windows. You can put your head out. There's no health and safety. You know, if you get your head chopped off, it's your fault for putting your head
Oh,
out. It's
I'll
great.
tell you something. Last time I went by train, I went up to Stoke-on-Trent, and I went into the loo, and it hadn't been cleaned out, I think, since the train was built. It was filthy, absolutely filthy. Yeah, I mean, the stench was enough to hold you back, and it was it's just awful. It's bumpy. It's a terrible journey, and this is the problem. I mean, if it was a nice smooth train, but you imagine if it was free, you wouldn't need ticket collectors. You wouldn't need anything like that. And you would say, "Oh, I think it'd help the tourist industry. People would be wandering around, doing tourism. It would save the country, I think, a lot of money. Less road repairs. There'd be a lot more employment, and because, for example, now, if I go down to the local town, I will, as I say, if it's a warm day, I will go by bike. If it isn't, I'll go by car. But sometimes you can't bloody park anywhere, so I might go by bus occasionally.
Well, there's the other thing as well, isn't it? Parking. I mean, all the car parks, and even the ones that are out in the middle of the country somewhere. Now you've got to pay to have a couple of hours in there, and so people are just not parking, which is kind of the idea. I know that, but it's ridiculous. But going back to the trains as well, so people often tell me, well, why don't you use trains? It's quicker, blah blah blah. It's not. I find trains a hell of a lot more stressful, and they're way more expensive. You know, I mean,
they're
the
very
reason
expensive now. They're stupidly pricey. They didn't used to be up until about 10 or 15 years ago. They were okay. I was fine. I think I used to be able to get up to London and back from here for about 12 quid. It's like 45, 50 quid now. It's ridiculous. It's only an hour and 10 minutes. And I'm going, it's just nuts. I'm not giving you that amount of money to sit on your train for an hour and 10 minutes. It's just not right. It's not right. It's nuts.
Do you remember when we planned? Sorry, carry on, Paul.
As I said, there are ways around it. If you know how the ticketing system works, you can get around it. So, like, for example, give it a good one, Sheffield. If I travelled up to Sheffield, if I do Telford, Birmingham, Derby, Sheffield, that makes the journey cheaper. But the cheapest route would be to book from Uttoxeter up to Sheffield. Now, people wouldn't know this, but the train still has to go through Derby in order to get to Sheffield. And that sometimes it's a matter of just working, like the local stations, find some shithole that's the other side of the town you're going to and book to there. You don't have to go there, but you say, well, I decided I didn't want to go. Thanks.
Yeah. Are you saying, Paul, that you've found a good use for AI then? Plotting these labyrinthine train routes?
No. I mean, like, even years ago, like a day or two in Wolverhampton was, I don't know, 8 quid. But if I booked the next station along, which was Cosley, it was about 5 quid. It was so you could travel further for less. Or if you went to something like Doncaster, if you booked to Adwick, which is a little shithole north of Doncaster, that was cheaper.
You do realise you're an exception, though. Nobody thinks about train journeys.
If you do research, it's possible.
No, he's a normal, typical English commuter. Oh, yeah, I'm going through the A43 bypass. Then I change it. You wait 15 minutes. Go, what? I just want to get there. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you can reel all this off. It's impressive. It's impressive.
Well, the thing,
if you've got the patience for it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you need a degree in accountancy to understand bloody going by train now. And I'll give you an example. I drove over to see Miles, which is just under 5 miles away from where I live, the other day. And what had happened is some traffic lights. What they're doing now is they're putting cones down and making a 2-lane area into a 1-lane, but there's no roadworks going on. And then there's some traffic lights near a station, which had, I don't know, gone wrong. So they've had some temporary traffic lights there. That caused about a 2-mile tailback. It took me just over 1.5 hours to do 5 miles to get to see Miles in his hot shop. Unbelievable. And it was a domino effect. It had created a hell of a hold up. And they're doing this deliberately because wherever you go, there's bloody roadworks that's not going on.
Yeah.
They just cone the road off and there's nothing happening, you know?
Yeah,
you were channeling Victor Meldrew there when it was unbelievable.
It was.
I was thinking, Eric, as you were talking about that maybe it's time for the Fockham Hall Engineering Works to actually give you that jetpack prototype, because that's obviously what you need to get that. We need jetpacks is what's needed. Yeah, you need a jetpack. Yeah. I always wanted one as a kid. They are doable, aren't they, right now? You can get a jetpack.
Oh, we can, yeah.
That's what we want with jetpacks.
If I'd have gone by bike, I would have got there literally in about 35 minutes. I mean, mind you, I've got a bleeding back like hell, you know, but I mean, I don't know what it is when I get on a bike. I don't know if it's the freedom of a push bike. I always cycle like a bat out of hell because you don't have to worry about the speed limit.
Could we have this jetpack so it's powered by methane? Because then you could sell some Fockham Hall baked beans and to help fuel your jetpack. Quid's in it.
MPs could use bullshit, couldn't they? To fuel their jetpack.
Never come back down.
But there's so much bullshit in effect, mate. They'd have to give it for free at that point because there wouldn't be any justification for charging for it anymore. Because
it'd be very, very low market price.
Be able to see first armor for 4 weeks. Yeah,
supply would outstrip even that mighty demand. There's just so much supply of bullshit. There'd be just.
Look, every country has to be good at something, and I'm just proud to be part of the country that is very good at bullshit. You got to claim to fame. Right. While you two are discussing, 2, 3, I don't even know how many is in the studio at the minute. Right. While we're all discussing public abhorrent transport, which should be all restructured. I'm going to stick the heating on because it's like the bloody, the Arctic in here. I'd say the Antarctic, but I'll offend flat earthers and they'll think I've got an ice wall outside or something. Right. And no, it's not to go to the toilet this time. I'm genuinely going for a coffee and a flipping, heating input. Well,
you need some donations.
I could be doing that.
Right. Remember to us do a Patreon to get you some money.
What?
Did you spend it all on the coach across to Oxford or something?
Well,
no. I'm 2 floors up, so it's like it's a bit chilly up here. So that's my excuse. I'm putting over. So I need the coffee for internal heating. I need the heating for external heating, and there you go.
Hadji said the steam train network worked better than modern day trains. Yes. Well,
mate, the original stage coaches worked better than modern day transport. Bring back the horses and a carriage. I think we'll actually get the vision quicker and probably more comfortable as well.
Yes, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
Right.
What is it about steam trains? What is it about steam trains?
What
it's just amazing. I just absolutely love them.
I do.
I don't know anybody who doesn't love them. They're just great. I'm not even bothered about how quick or whether they're even on time. I'd rather go anywhere being dragged by a steam train called Sir Nigel Gresley or something. The whole thing's sort of like exciting and interesting. It's got a story to it as opposed to some commuter train. They're just, I remember as a kid, because there were still steam engines running when I was very young. And there's a railway station literally about 1,000 yards from my house, and they put a footbridge over. I used to stand on this footbridge getting covered in the smoke because I'd see the train down at the station about to pull out, so my mum would walk off and let me just get covered in. But it's just exciting. I don't know, it's just modern trains are just never have been.
Also, my mum took me to Liverpool Street when I was a kid, and there used to be there was a steam train graveyard as you went into Liverpool Street, where there was a time when there was actually, it was sad. It really was a sad sight. Where they were scrapping all the steam trains. And I remember we was going. It was a sort of changeover. I was ever so young. I think it was before I started school, and I was walking along with my mummy, and there's a train just pulling out of the station, and suddenly the wheels slipped. It goes.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic bit of excitement. I love steam trains, and when you think about it, they were fueled by coal, which we dug out of the ground in this country, and we've got 400 years worth of coal. And
Well, that's it. That's just in Wales alone.
That's right.
There's just, I would imagine as well that if you use modern materials to build boilers and all sorts of other things, right? I bet you could get steam engines way more efficient than they used to be. Not that we would go back, but you could. And if you go onto YouTube and put in modern steam engine design, not locomotives necessarily, but just designs on steam engines and see what they can do, there's some amazing stuff. I mean, people just like mucking around with it and everything. And they're going, well, we got this. They get the compression up really high and they're using far less fuel. Because I think steam engines, I remember at school, someone said they're not very efficient. They were like 15% efficient. Very, you know.
The 10% efficient. The most efficient engine is actually a diesel engine, which is much more efficient than a petrol engine, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But with a steam, what I was going to say about steam engine, in the 1950s, they did bring out a steam engine that I think was oil fired. So you got inside it and that oil fired. So you didn't even need a stoker. You just had this loads of oil, heated it up.
Well, if you have a look at the old some of the later American steam locomotives, like the cab forwards, as they were called, they're oil fired. But if you look at, I mean, I do like the more modern trains. I'm more interested in the diesels, like the Deltics and things like that. Might mean to me, might not.
Oh, bloody great things, yeah.
But the
I used to cab Deltics when I was a train spotter and Leeds railway station. We were always getting shouted at, but the idea was to get into the cab of a Deltic. It's pretty exciting because they used to come in from So Leeds is a big sort of exchange point going off to York, up to Scotland, and you get Deltics coming down on the Edinburgh to London run, and so there's about 22 of them made. What a nerdy thing! Collecting the names of these things. I've no idea. Actually, the main reason for doing it was to eat cheese sandwiches and get in the way of all the commuters at lunchtime and everything. It was and get shouted at by the station master was always quite exciting. I've told you once, right? Are you lads still here? All that sorry. All that kind of stuff. Don't know why we
with regards to the steam locomotive side of things, the later ones that were built, like the 9F, so big freight engines in this steam locos in this country. And of course coal didn't provide any funding for the Rothschild family, Rockefeller family, whoever the oil tycoons, which is probably one of the links as to why they were removed. But 9Fs, they got that much power that, I mean, even modern diesel locomotives now would not have matched what they potentially could do. And they showed, even like the AFs, the A4s that used to work the express services through, like from King's Cross, they weren't even flat out when they were working hard. They got so much more power. There's a lot of power in steam locomotives, a lot more than we're told.
Yeah. Oh yes, they are incredible. Because
they just look as though blokes dripping with sweat, beaten with. I just love the look of them, everything about them. They're kind of alive in a way. I don't know what it is. And you can't, you want Sherlock Holmes in the compartment and there's something going on. There's a whole story. I'm serious. There just is. It was so embedded in the fiction, The Growth of the Nation. You saw those trains going along. It's always as if some murder was going to take place. Your imagination goes wild over steam engines. It just does nothing when I say a modern train. It's just dead as a dodo. It's just like some efficient transport. Who's bothered about that? I don't want it efficient. I want it romantic and full of daftness and the points being switched wrong and things like that. I once burnt a railway carriage to pieces actually when I was about 11. That was quite fun.
Yeah, it's just exciting, isn't it? Into arson, it's interesting.
Yeah, they did have to call the local fire brigade out, and then all my mates were shouting across the railway lines, "We know the bloke here that did it." I said, "It wasn't just me. He helped." It was an old carriage. Yeah, it was near Barnbow. munition works where they built Chieftain tanks. So I lived right next to a Chieftain tank factory, and we would go out there and watch them testing all the Chieftain tanks on the sort of tank range and stuff. And then they would come off and put there was a lot going on in my little place. It was great, actually. And then Flying Scotsman would come along on those runs because it was on the main line up to Scotland. So from Leeds over to York and then up from that way. So it's pretty cool. I sort of grew up with railways in my back pocket, in my backyard. It was great. Loved it.
But the thing is that, again, we sound like the propaganda twilight zone. It's propaganda which runs countries. It runs almost everything nowadays. It's just everything is propaganda or propagandized. And PR is the thing to get into, I think, because it's just bullshitting the public all the time. Continuous bullshit.
I was going to say, is it still considered to be propaganda if nobody believes it anymore? I mean, it's so overt now. I mean, if you believe it, you've got to be a special kind of stupid, haven't you?
I agree.
I mean, it's an mixture of lies and truths because it can't run just on complete blatant falsehoods. But it's like a permanent nudge event. You're always being nudged to a destination you don't know, and 15 years later, you find out that things have changed in a way that you don't quite like. There's been a lot of that. Do you want a quote from Edward Bernays, the famous one? This is good.
Oh, yes, please. Here he comes, Edward Bernays.
Father of propaganda.
This is the key one, right? You'll have heard this before. He wrote this. This is from his book in 1928 called Propaganda, right? The conscious, and this is bang on the mark, it's never gone away since he formulated all this stuff, the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, and our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. It is they who pull the wires that control the public mind. This is so very true, and it's going on, of course, in its more advanced AI versions today. Absolutely the case. It really is.
That is true. You're right. And what gets me about propaganda is our people easily fall for it. It's kind of group mentality. Oh, everybody's like, have you heard these adverts for sales? Everybody's going to the What's It sale. Well, if everybody's going there, why do they bother advertising it for? They can have cheaper prices, don't advertise it. If everybody's going there, why advertising?
It's promote herd mentality, isn't it? All everyone else is doing it, so you should be doing it as well. No, you're all right. Never really been one to follow the crowd, hence, people stay away from the slaughterhouse.
But how are we going to get around this
stuff? I think it's key. I mean, Plato talked about this stuff as well. It's about this mind, the conditioning, the way that supposedly a crowd mind works. And it's what makes things so very difficult. And I actually don't think we're facing really any new problems at all. This thing's been with us for thousands of years. Okay, we are, in terms of the outward expression of it, in terms of the form of life, has now been transformed massively by technology, which we've all grown up with. Just like fish in water, when we arrived, TVs were around. You didn't question it. I didn't know how they worked. I just wanted to watch the cartoons, right? You don't even realize that these things are going on. Except when my dad told me that they didn't have TV when they were a kid, I remember feeling really sorry for him, as if life must have been just absolutely awful without television. But you make use of whatever's available. And I think it's this thing to do with why it's very, very difficult. No one seems to have cracked it, about how you swing a crowd round to things other than slowly and with a great deal of money, which is what public relations requires. Tons of money, lots of it.
Yeah.
And they have an inexhaustible supply of it. This means that they can say, well, it's going to take 5 to 10 years. Of course, they send all these guys out, researchers doing psychological profiling of people, because they want to know how to sell washing powder more effectively, understandably. Okay, I get all that. That's what they want to do. But the whole system is just sort of, it's like, it's a frenetic overactivity in areas that we don't need doing in the first place, purely to keep the economy going. And that's what's the great excuse, isn't it? Driven out of people. It's very, very difficult. And here's a good quote from Plato. It's not really about propaganda. I just have a few up because I've been reading a bit of this stuff recently. And this applies to everyone here and everybody listening, I would say. You'll all know this. It says, those who are able to see beyond the shadows, hello everyone, and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses. It's because there's too big a gap. This gap that springs up, and this just goes back thousands and thousands of years. It's always been the same. Socrates, was killed for it. He was killed for trying to teach things beyond the perception of where the authorities of the day thought the masses' consciousness was. And so
corrupting the youth, isn't it? So
yeah. And if you look into what he was corrupting them with, it was introducing ideas about new gods and things which were important back then. Whatever we may think about it right now, these were the sort of framework that they were controlling people through. And they said they made him kill himself because they said he'd broken the rules of the mysteries. But he hadn't, because he was never initiated into them. He was just so bright. He worked them out himself and then was blurting them out everywhere because he thought this was the right thing to do. And in a way, it is the right thing to do. But history seems to show that whenever anybody has done that, they often end up being dead pretty quickly because the crowd can't take it. It goes nuts. And we've got to be aware of that. It's not matter, I don't think, about being right or wrong about this stuff. It's like a bit too much truth delivered too quickly is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, but
it just appears to be the way.
We've also
Matthias Desmet, sorry, mate, just 2 seconds. Matthias Desmet discusses this in his book about mass formation. I've got to be careful how I say that because it'll get the video censored for reasons unknown. I'm going to call it mass formation theory as opposed to the other word that it should be with. But he figured that it was the 30-40-30 rule, which is basically that 30% will believe everything that they're told, 30% will believe absolutely nothing that they're told. So they're your thinkers, your critical thinkers, your investigators, the ones who actually go out and do the work. And then you've got the 40% in the middle, which if the 30% can gain traction, the 40% will fall in line with that. But the problem with that is that you've always got a percentage of the population that, because they can see through the lies and the propaganda and the the bullshit. I think we'll just go with bullshit at this point. They are inadvertently the victims as well, because they're telling people what the people don't want to hear. And so that look, we've all experienced this. Everyone in this panel, assuming everyone in chat as well, we've all been through this, especially for the last 5 years. I mean, I've gone through it a fair few years before that as well. You try and tell people how it is, they don't like you for it. They criticize you for it. And so you can't really. We're back to the whole seed planting thing. It's better to plant seeds and get them to think that it's their idea and come back to you and so that they think that they're telling you as opposed to but it's
right.
interesting, isn't it? So
it's fascinating, but you see the thing is, another thing that we haven't looked at is that in the 1960s there was this huge experiment that they started with free expression schools. And you had Dr. Spock. I mean, apparently that's why in Star Trek, Mr. Spock, who was emotionless almost, it was, excuse my language, it was taking a pee at Dr. Spock. So they say. Whether that's true or not, I do not know. But the fact is that it was where I'm not sure it was him, but there was these so-called experts talking about childcare, leaving children to cry and not tend to them, and just let them cry and cry and cry. And then free expression schools where the kids just went ape shit and you just left them to do it and let them find their own sort of way in life. And now they've banned, you can't spank a child.
So I read that in the message you sent earlier. And I mean, have they actually banned that now? Is it now illegal to discipline your own child so that nanny state has all the rights over your children?
I do believe so, although if I'm wrong, can someone in chat or
No, I think you're right. I agree.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But that's insane. What does that tell you, though, right? So that tells you that society has become so immature and incapable of looking after itself, incapable of its own dependence and critical thought, that now the state has assumed the right to do that on your behalf. Why the hell are we all putting up with this? I still don't get why people sit back and just take this.
Can I make a point on that as well? Because when you think about it, you can't discipline a child. But as adults, we're disciplined all the time by health and safety. You can't do this. Right. You can't go there. You can't stand behind that line. So it seems as though the role's completely reversed in that what would have been where you'd have been taught as a child what's right and wrong and what you can and can't do, and you learn the boundaries, but now we're dictated to on what we can do as adults and what we can't do, and it really pisses me off. To be honest with you,
Well, it pisses
just
me off.
But it should, I
shows you
think.
Right.
Sorry, just going to say, I think that's the whole idea, Paul, is that those of us who can see it and know that it's wrong and know that the state's overstepping the boundaries, I think it's meant to piss us off. I think the whole idea is to get us into a state of almost aggression, right? Because if we're in that aggressive state, then we're not really thinking clearly. We're not what we should be doing at this point is strategizing as opposed to reacting, which is what I've said in the past, that if you can get people to react emotionally as opposed to thinking, again, critically, for want of a better word, or, cognitively, so to think things through and calmly react and pull things together, they've got you right where they want you. Because then you're acting like a child, right? So then it's easy to just pull you in line and say, well, you've all been naughty children. Somebody had to step in and sort this out. And it's like, well, I just think it's crackers, the whole
You've
thing.
got a good point. Now,
but I think, those little
Sorry.
breakdowns you were giving, Nathan, of these sections from Matthias, what's his name, which Eric's mentioned as well before. There's nothing really new with that. And I keep thinking, it's a massive challenge if you think that you have a perception about something, if you've seen too much, let's put it that way, right? Mm-hmm. So if most people here are of a bent where you're continually questioning things. I mean, I think, or frequently, let's put it that way, a lot. Or it's one of your first sort of responses to anything that's put before you is to question it. No, I mean, I get tricked up with all sorts of things. We've just had this sort of stabbing thing that's taken place in Huntingdon, whatever it is, and I'm going to go stop. I'm getting sucked into the drama. I've got to stop and not say, I've just said something about it because I'm at the weekend. I've got to give it a few days to see how the dust settles. What does it matter how I perceive it? But if you're the guy that's perceiving too much in a crowd, you are in a vulnerable position because you disturb the people around you that haven't seen it. And then they'll call you a cocky sod or whatever they're going to say. And if you think about it at school, right, when I'll take mathematics, right? I wasn't a dimbo at maths, but I sat alongside people who were working problems out in a split second. That was taking me 15 minutes to sort of work. So you become aware that there is a sort of pecking order in certain topics, the things that you might have had a passion for, the way you could sort of lead a little bit because your appetite and people would listen to you. But if you go too far beyond the crowd, this is not a sort of criticism, it's just an observation. You put yourself in a vulnerable position. Yep. You just do, because the crowd can't even understand what you're saying. And this is what we've got with this sort of like echelon of experts. There's such a communications gap that you can't bridge it with just a simple conversation at the bar. It's not possible to do it. You're talking about people who've acquired a lot of information and knowledge over a long period of time. And it literally is not possible to communicate all that effectively to someone who hasn't got a clue even about the basics. And this is why democracy is a bit of a problem. It's why, should everybody have the vote? In my view, no. You should sit an exam to find out whether you're worthy to cast it if you think democracy is the way to go. I don't, by the way. I actually much more adhere to the idea of an aristocracy in its true sense. Not the corrupt, but all aristocracy. Well, they corrupt. Well, you have natural aristocracy that occurs in any group. You just do, like maths, right? I go to school, there's 90 people in my year. There were 4 people in my year went on to Cambridge to do mathematics, right? I was never going to do that. They were the aristocracy of mathematics. They just were. That's the word I'm going to use. They were way brighter. They were bored with all the basic stuff. One guy jumped up 2 years. He was that smart at it. So when he was 14, he was in the 2 years ahead just on mathematics alone because they recognized he had such a skill. What do you do with people like you? Hold them back? We are different. And so people have got different abilities in different areas. It's the bridging. It's the, how do you make society not react badly to the genius? And this is why geniuses in England go off and sit in their shed and then come out with a hovercraft, because if they talk to anybody about it, they think they've gone bloody mad. They go, I can't talk to no one about this. Certain individuals see things way earlier than others.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess to some degree, we think we're seeing things before others. I do of myself, but it's not always true. I know when I'm in the presence of someone who's seen something I haven't seen at all. But at least if you're in the habit of doing that, you recognize when you're in the presence of someone who can see things with more precision, you acknowledge it, and you're not demeaned by it. You go, this is bloody great. Whereas a huge number of people have not even got on the path, are threatened by it. It's disconcerting. And this is how governments thrive. They create this they amplify these divisions in the crowd. And it's why Socrates had to kill himself. When they say you're perverting the youth, you're filling their head full of ideas that they can't comprehend, and they're going wonky. We can't have that. I mean, what do you do? It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Getting back to what I was going to say.
Sorry, sorry, just 2 seconds. What I was going to say about that is the fact that if he was condemned for condemning the youth, or probably basically waking people up, clearly for them to want to remove him, he was effective. Because otherwise it wouldn't have been a problem. They'd have just left him to it. So one, it can be done because it works. The other way of looking at this is we're all too busy getting distracted by the negative angles of this, and it is negative. I'm not going to, there's nothing. We're going through a really bad patch in society. If you want to look at it that way, but the good thing, if you want to take anything away from this, is you can then observe this in effect. You can now, we don't have to read about it in a history book because it's happening in real time, right? So now we can compare that to the history books and say, right, okay, what's the pattern developing here? What comes next? Why does it come next? How do we prevent that? Do you know what I mean? So we can look at this analytically. We can look at this as we are now observing all of this and, tyranny unfolding, the effect that it's having on people, the psychology that's being used against us, all of the, the mind tricks that people are falling for. If you want to take something positive away from that, it's one hell of a learning experience. You can look at that as a positive thing. I know it sounds a bit mad under the circumstances, but okay, it's happening anyway. And until such time as we can stop that or remedy it, why don't we take learn from it, adapt to it. I don't mean accept it. I don't mean take it willfully. I mean, use it, observe it, assess it, analyze it, research it, compare it to historical patterns and things like that. Because if we do that, then we're taking a bad situation and making it useful. We're taking something bad and making it actually quite effective if we can learn from it, if we can apply ourselves to that. Otherwise, we're just going to become victims in another steam train, freight train, or whatever you want. Take any analogy you want. So history's going to take us out. It's just going to go over us, rip us to bits.
What we're doing is, now Barefoot Foreigner has come up with a very interesting statement. Who is allowed to hit you legally? Now, there's an old saying: you can scratch your head, but you don't tear lumps out of it. Or the other one is you can scratch your arse and you don't tear lumps out of it. Now, if you look throughout the animal kingdom, mammals especially, they will, if a youth gets a little bit, hot-headed or whatever, a dog, cat, or anything like that will just give it a little nip. Won't harm it, won't hurt it. Just a little nip to say, "Oi, keep under control." There's a difference between violence and aggression, and just a humiliation. Now, I think Barefoot Foreigner, I can tell where you're coming from, because I was in a similar situation. Yes, I was a well-behaved child, terrified and traumatized. Yes,
I can relate to that.
Because my mother, I think, had a mental illness. So her aggression was coming out on me. I was used as a punch ball. I don't blame her for that, because she was ill, or some people I would question whether it was an illness or demonically possessed. That's another question. That's in the book that I'm writing. But the fact of the matter is that what we've bred is spoilt brat syndrome, what I call spoilt brat. And that is,
I agree with that.
Where they are, yes, dear, we'll give everything. Now, you look at Keir Starmer, he's a typical spoilt brat. He's never wanted for anything. he never saved up his pocket money to buy something he really wanted. No, it was provided. I can almost guarantee that.
I was
And you
going to
can
say his
see that
pocket
in
money was
adulthood.
probably a year's income for most people, wasn't it? I mean,
Well, precisely. His dad was a toolmaker. Yeah, he ran a firm, toolmakers. He was comfortable middle class. And when you look at, I've worked with these spoilt brats, and they carry it over into their adult life. Now, the thing is a good parent will know how far to go. And there's I'm not, when people say, "Oh, violence," because they're smacking shot. No, it's just a light tap. It's just the humiliation of it. It's not knocking 9 bells out of a kid and getting scarred for life. No, or mental scarring, which we had because of problems. But the fact of the matter is that looking at a normal family, if there is such a thing, you've got to keep a child in check. And I mean, I went into a shop the other day, and there's a kid. I can't remember what his name was, but it's a strange, like Bridge North, or whatever, some
for a name.
Yeah, Bridge North.
You're joking.
And all I could do was Bridge North.
Conceived or something.
Stop that, Bridge North. Bridge North. Stop that, Bridge North. Bridge North. Okay. It's like stuck like chewing gum to the side of my brain. And this kid was put his arm along a shelf, and just everything went onto the floor. So someone in that shop has got to pick that all up and put it back on the shelf. But that didn't matter, because the mother's going, look. Now, if I'd have done that, I'd have been taken outside, bashed. Stop that. That's too extreme. To be taken outside. Don't you do that again, all right? Don't you do that again. Now, you go and put all that stuff back and go and apologise to the manager for what you've done. That would have been far better. And you apologise for what you've done. That kid was completely unruly because he had no parental guidance at all. And this is what we're getting. And it's mainly the middle classes with these sort of schools. Now, when I was at work, there was a woman who had married a much older bloke. She came over from Kenya to get an English passport, I think. And they had a child, and this child was completely unruly. Now, drawing instruments cost a lot of money. They really are expensive. And I was working away one night, and this kid came in with his father, and the kid got his arm and pushed all my drawing instruments on the floor. And they went, And I just sort of looked, and I was fuming. They cost me a lot of money. Luckily, they weren't damaged, but they could have been. And this is what you're getting, the spoilt brats. Now, how's that spoilt brat behaving in life today? I mean, you look at what we've got with these socialist attitudes. They're born into middle class areas. They live in shitholes in cities because they don't understand how country people live. And they think everything can be provided. Oh, don't worry, we'll just a couple of million here and a couple of million there. Oh, we'll spend $1 million. We'll send several billion to Ukraine. It doesn't matter. Money grows on trees. They haven't worked hard to obtain what they want. So they have no values. And that's what I've actually pointed over. So what I'm saying is I don't believe in knocking 9 bells out of a kid or anything like that. But a little bit of discipline, and just a little bit of discipline, and a threat, and apologising for what you've done is humiliation more than anything.
Well, is it humiliation or is it teaching humility? Because I mean, again, you could link one to the other, but I mean, being made accountable for your actions by your parents, I would have said that was a good thing. You know, you just said there, go to the shop manager and apologise for what you've done. Okay, that's teaching your children accountability, and if we could all do that, but now most people don't have accountability. Now most people are borderline narcissists or worse, and the fact that they think they can do anything without any kind of repercussion, without any consideration for others, and they are now in a position where they can get away with it unless they go against the state. So it doesn't matter if you wrong another person in our society, that is seen as that's acceptable, anything goes. But if you go against the state, if you go against the authorities, I mean, effectively it's entrainment, isn't it? It's operant conditioning. You're rewarded for good behaviour and punished for bad behaviour, except now the state is doing it instead of your parents.
That's right. They're spoiled brats.
But again, exactly, spoiled brats. But if you don't have disciplined children, a disciplined society, then all hell's going to break loose, and that's what we're seeing now. We are seeing a society. Yeah, but it's go on, mate. Yeah.
So do you not think that's the it's being planned that way. Because, like, for example, if you drive a car,
Yeah.
you have insurance. So if you're into the back of someone, the insurance company's basically got your back. Now, if that insurance wasn't there, people would drive with. If that money was going to come out of their pocket rather than out of an insurance claim, they'd drive differently. And the same applies to things like we talk about the police and how they back each other up. if every time a police officer breaks the law basically or infringes on somebody's rights, basically not doing their job as they should be,
Mhm.
and that gets taken through court and it's won, it should come out of the police officer's wage, not from the taxpayer who's funded it, because that's wrong. Because that basically what that says to the police officer is, well, I can do this, get away with it, and somebody else will pay it for. And that's and even down to things like, if we talk about like the criminal side of things, if somebody steals, I don't know, a purse from an old woman or an old elderly person, and they get caught with that purse, they should be made to go and take it back to that woman and explain why they did it and to
Correct.
apologise. And
Spot on.
that would change society completely, because going to prison doesn't change anything. They come
I
back
agree
out
with
and
you.
they continue to do the same thing.
I don't
But if
believe that's right.
they're forced to be put on the spot and told, right, you need to go and speak to that person you've just mugged, beaten up, or whatever, and you need to go and explain to them exactly why you did it, that'd probably be more nerve-wracking for the individual concerned than going to prison, because that's basically just taking them off and saying, okay, well, he's dealt with, problem solved. Do you know what I mean? It's putting those people on the spot.
It's the equivalent of hiding all the mess under the bed, isn't it? It's like if you sweep it under the rug and it's gone. Don't worry, you can't see it, but it's going to fester if it's allowed to continue.
Aunt
Can
Sally's
we?
come up with a beautiful, but carry on,
No, I
Nathan.
was going to ask you to read that out actually.
Yes, Aunt Sally says the problem is, and my parents said this. The problem is that becoming a parent doesn't come with a handbook. Most of us are literally doing our best. And I think I've got an answer to this. And only those with good parents know how to do a better job of it. And the break down the family unit, because it was the grandparents who advised, granny advised, granddad advised. And as we have the breakdown of the family unit, where people don't have grandparents and people might have a single parent. I'm not against single parents, don't get me wrong. They can be very well brought up. But what I'm saying is that you had the family unit. So mother would ask her mother, what do we do here? And father would ask his father, what do we do here? That you had that, and you had several generations back. Now, if you've ever seen the book, I think it's Fierce People, by an anthropologist, and he lived in the jungle and he learnt to speak their language with the tribe, who were a very aggressive tribe. But he said the most amazing thing was, number one, he said they didn't wear anything, but he never saw them having sex. He never saw them going to the toilet, and their children were brought up not as nervous wrecks, but to respect their elders and respect other people. And he said when he walked into the tribe and spoke to them, the children were always very well behaved and treated him with respect. Whereas he said he'd rather be amongst them than amongst some of the kids in modern day society, because they're unruly. These children, the parent would look around, stop that, they'd stop it immediately.
Yeah.
But
again, if you have so sorry, Paul, just a sec. If you have the state that has now taken over the position of the carer, the parent, the nanny, etc., what you're going to do with each generation, the more power and the more authority that the state takes over your children, then the less likely you are to have that information, to have that know-how, to have those skills and abilities as a parent, to pass it on to your children so that they can then take that and learn from it. So what you've got is they're taking away people's ability to know how things work, to know how to communicate effectively. I mean, again, I get your point. Parenting is tough. I'm a parent. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes with my child, but you know what? In the grand scheme of things, she's intelligent. She's well behaved compared to most children. She's
I've spoken
capable.
to her.
She's
Yeah,
independent. There's a load of
very.
I'm proud of
I'll
that.
tell you something.
But
You can be proud. You should be proud of her. Sorry to chime in there, Nathan. I've
thanks,
spoken
man.
to her. She's very intelligent, and I can tell she's well brought up. She's not a nervous wreck. She's confident, polite, and
Oh, thank you.
respectable, and she has
Yeah.
self-respect. And this is the thing that has been taught to. She's got
Yeah.
this self-respect about her, and this is something that's just lost in society today: is self-respect. You know, people think they can do what they want. They go into a shop. Oh, yeah, dude. Look at the amount of people. Now there's one of these Tesco Metros on a corner, and
Yeah.
please do not park here. And the amount of what I call mock chews
Our favourites.
get out of a car with its arse stuck out in the road, causing a huge traffic hold up the lane. Going gets his cigarettes, gets in his car, gets on his mobile, and there's still cars causing a hell of a hoo-ha. So this shop on the corner has had to put bollards in. People saying, "What are they doing that for?" To stop arseholes parking. And now it's this one arsehole, and there's a car park at the back of the shop, but they're too lazy to park their car and walk round. But they'll pay quite a few £100 to become for gym membership, so they can sit there and sort of do all the exercises, but they can't walk a few feet into this shop. Now,
Yeah.
this is the big problem. That person wasn't brought up correctly
Sense of
because it's
entitlement.
respect for other people, and this is the thing that's lacking a lot: respect for other people.
And, right, this is brilliant. Can we just put Holly's comment up a second? Oh, it's disappeared.
Certainly, I'm just trying to find it.
Oh, where's it gone?
Just whilst you're on that, all I was going to say earlier on was
I'll look it up.
is a lot of behaviour from our youngsters caused by a certain thing beginning with V. Because let's be honest,
I agree. Yes.
there's that many V's put into children before they get to the age of, I don't know, 3, 4, 5. That's going to have an effect on their brain, on how they react to things.
Yeah.
It's going to
it's the same with diet. If you look at food stuff and diet and all this genetically modified organisms, and they're taking all the nutrients out, and then they're injecting you with things that are suppressing your immune system. That is going to have an effect on the human brain, and it does have an effect on the human brain, right? So, but again, this is all the thing that we've always got to keep in mind is that it's like you said earlier, Paul. This is all very deliberate, right? This is all part of an overarching agenda that applies to every country, every citizen in the world. It's there, and so the idea. I've lost that bloody comment, and again, it was a good
Is
comment.
that it? Indeed, it's a generational trauma. Is that the one?
No, right. So maybe I missed.
Is it after that or before that?
No, it's after. Right. So Blu-ray 144 has put it now. I could have sworn it was Holly who put it there first. So anyway, apologies. But here, right. So we are here to break the cycle and to clear generational trauma. We are the change. Right. So I think it was something along those lines, unless I'm missing the point. But the idea here is that that's what I'm trying to say. We know there's a problem. We know there's an agenda behind it. We know that there's been psychology and NLP and hypnosis used against us. We know that we're being duped by mass psychosis and all the rest of it. All right. So if we know that, then we have no excuse. So let's break that cycle. I'm going to quote Game of Thrones here. Break the wheel. Daenerys, with the dragons. I'm not going to play the Game of Thrones. I'm going to break the wheel. In other words, I'm coming in to change things. I'm coming in to break the system because the system's irrevocably broken. So we do need to do that. Break the wheel. Break the cycle.
It's
learn
been
from
broken. It's
Thank you,
broken
Holly, for your comment there, by the way.
in so many ways. I think there's so many factors at play that it's not easy to say this is the one main thing. I don't think there is. I think it's a combination. It's like a blizzard of negative factors that have all been maturing for decades, if not a few hundred years. I mean, if you think, I can only talk about England, right? Because that's what I know and that's where I'm located and all that kind of stuff. There used to be a national story about who we were that you picked up. this is just a general thing, but you would pick it up. And so we were the people that did this and we did that. We had a big navy. It doesn't really matter what the things are. All these details add up to a story of who we were as a people. And that story basically held true probably for most of the 20th century, but towards the tail end of it, not literally to just dump everything on Blair, because the seeds of all this, but it turned at that point. Something turned bad. The gates were thrown wide open. He said, no, there's a different context for how you live now. And this has affected parenting. Then we've had Bernays' role, for example, in getting women to smoke. The idea was to obviously sell more cigarettes to women. No, it wasn't. Mm-hmm. It was to create this division and to supposedly empower women in a particular way, to give them more power in family affairs, which makes parenting more difficult. It took 40 or 50 years for that to filter through, right through to the 1960s and 70s. But that's how it sort of moved. And I think you've also got smaller families. You were talking earlier about having the grandparents around. Now, I should have had my grandparents around, but unfortunately, most of them were dead. Actually, when I was young, they would have been around, but they died.
Yeah, same with me. To be fair, so yeah,
I knew both of one of my. I had a grandfather who died at 55, so I never even met him. And so when my mum got married, her elder brother had to give her away because he died when she was only about 15, which was quite a blow. But it was a big family, so they had a lot of family support. I had all these aunties and uncles around. And so if I didn't get sort of gently disciplined by my dad, not that I was an excessively naughty kid, but you're exuberant and you just make mistakes. And you don't do that. Don't run into your Uncle Jack's legs and stop pulling his trousers. Okay. And you sort of stop. They're all little things, aren't they? They don't mean anything. Yeah. But you slowly learn the way. And if one of my uncles needed to let me know, he would kindly but firmly let me know that they didn't want me to do that stuff. So I had a rich environment. I've got literally no regrets about my childhood. It was fantastic. I mean, I moaned about the thing, but it was really. I've looked back on it and gone, why were you sort of whining about things? You had nothing to whine about. But you do as a kid sometimes, like, I am going to pocket money, or I need to buy this and this, sort of all those small little things. They're not a big deal, but you learn these little lessons. Women have been put under more pressure. You've got, we have this situation now where both parents have to go out and work. This is really damaging to developing the good upbringing of children. It's massively damaging. The children do not, we've generated, what they call latchkey kids coming home from school. Yep. Absolutely. This is a major, major problem.
That's psychologically upsetting children because they're brought up by a complete stranger.
Yeah, and I know we talk about things like, I've talked about things like your mum baking at home. I'm telling you, it's massively important. Baking day at home for me as a kid was one of the most exciting days of the week. It was every Wednesday, and the house just smelt wonderfully because I'd come home, me and my brother, and my mum had baked all this stuff, and it's like we knew it was going to happen, and this went on for years. All of these things are like the binding glue that make you know as a child you're part of a family that's there to look after you, and there are rules, and you want to keep them because you see it makes your mum and dad happy. And when your mum and dad happy, it makes you, all of these things, they're natural. You don't sit around analyzing it when you're 7. You pick it up by example, and you're put right when you go wrong, and you go, you don't do that. Okay, why not? Well, because I've just sorted all this garden out. I don't want you walking or, okay, got it, sorry, Dad, or whatever it is. They're little things, but they're guides. So much of the way that we live has been removed. And of course, the people that are now occupying positions of power in government believe, because they believe in this abstract world, they don't see real people. They don't see them anymore. They're living in their ideology all the time. They just believe that more government is the thing that's going to improve things. And they don't get that individual families, you learn more in a family space than you're going to learn anywhere else. All the important stuff is learnt there about how to care for people, or the fact that your mum cared for you when you bust your leg on a bike, which has happened to me. All these little things, they just build up. They're just family living. Much of those events no longer occur for children to the degree or frequency that they used to have happen, and you didn't sit around going, I ain't got any money, just go out in the street and kick a football. Okay. And those things would work out. And I know it's a bit like, you're just harking back to a thing, but it was better. Now, if you go back into the 1800s in London, it wasn't better because the kids they couldn't eat. I mean, that's a terrible. That we've been, whenever they had an opportunity to effectively pick the pockets of the poor, they always take it. They've always taken it. Now we've got a situation where everybody's been sort of softened up in a way. It's almost like swung too far the other way, and now we're being pampered to death. It's like birds in a gilded cage, and so you can't.
Absolutely.
This is the thing. When they go, when the government say we're going to put it right, my response is, I didn't invite you to do that.
Right.
These are my problems.
Who said my. Right.
Yeah, this is my problem. I have an opportunity for me to grow and become a bit more responsible about this issue that I've not been paying attention to because I'm a dickhead. And you're stepping in and saying, I'll relieve you of that. Why would I want you to do that? I want to learn through the pain. So you have to, and one of the things that children don't get taught is that life's going to be painful. It is. And they also need to see that it's a good thing, that you do need these challenges. And we've become kind of a listless people because we don't have a story that's got a challenge in it. There used to be a challenge, as it were, almost nationally. We have to go and do this. We got that. We're running most of the world. You got what? Me? I'm not. I'm not running it. Well, you're part of it. I better want to be part of it. It's tough. This is the way it is. You got born here, and this is how it is. So you better deal with it, and you're going to have to be responsible. And it's got bite. And you did have miserable. I hated parts of school, homework and stuff, and wasn't a compliant student in certain regards. But my dad didn't lay into me for it. He said, "I think you could do better at this," but it wasn't sort of like a big deal. I think it's very complicated. Or if you look at all the factors, there are many taking place. But the idea that more government solves problems is one of the root issues. It's less. It's total less. It's almost like we don't need you. But of course, the people that are in government are bred on this idea that the world would stop without them. And you cannot convince them that their absence would improve things, which, of course, in my view, it absolutely would.
I agree totally. I mean, this is what me and Steve prattle on a lot about, is that, government is basically, it's a usurper, isn't it? It's usurping people's sovereignty and autonomy. It's making us incapable. It's giving us victimhood. And one of the things that I thought you were going to cover there, it's your parents taught you practical skills, or at least to have a go at stuff. And now we've got learned helplessness. We've got, we can't do that because we need a certificate to do that. And that, no, well, whatever happened to, well, just try it anyway. And, obviously not if it's, massively dangerous, but, a lot of stuff that you can learn just by trying to figure it out for yourself, right?
Learn by your mistakes.
Well, yeah, but I would say that was the best way to learn anything is by your mistakes, because you're less likely to make the mistakes again, because you don't want to screw up. But again, certain mistakes are a little bit too dangerous. But again, we've lost the ability to be practical. We've lost a lot of practical know-how. You mentioned there cooking, being one of the best family activities. How many people in the last couple of generations now can genuinely cook? I mean, some of them can't even do beans on toast. Yet your grandparents were there baking. Then scones and cakes and just all kinds of meals we've lost a lot of meals now, I think, because
quality
grandmother's meals. Say again, mate.
It's quality. It's quality food, not ready meals full of salt and crap. But what I was going to say, I saw one of these so-called. Oh, sorry, rather, I heard that on the radio. I was in the car many years ago driving along, and this expert professor, whatever, who's of some university and she said it's wrong to teach children to say please and thank you.
What?
Why do they have to keep saying please and thank you? She said, if you give them something, they take it, and that's it. Why? I couldn't believe my ears.
Well, she's to be selfish.
She's looked into all her books and found out that it's wrong to teach children to be polite. So thank you. It's a superfluous word. She said, animals don't say please and thank you; they just take.
Well, so are we supposed to go back then? Are we supposed to devolve the animal kingdom?
They don't. Animals don't build complex civilizations that are multi-layered and challenging.
Exactly.
They're challenging themselves. And politeness, those things that's the glue, almost like the hidden glue, that causes us to be able to operate when we're under very bad circumstances. It's a magical connection between people. It really is.
Right. But it's respect for other people. It's saying thank you. Is saying, isn't that kind to that person? And you really, and I know people today that you give something to them and they won't say thank you. They go, cheers.
I get doors for people at work sometimes, and they just walk through, and I'll say, oh, you're welcome. They charge you for
I do that, and you get, and then they have the cheek to give you that
for
side eye,
Mother's
right?
Day.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hate that. And what
Yep.
I did that. Well, and the next set of doors, I just let it swing straight in their face. Bang! I thought, right, you bastard.
Sorry to bring it back to public transport
Yeah.
just briefly. It's the
Uh-oh.
in thing at the moment is when you're trying to get off the train, people get on before you can get off, and then you put a
Yep.
bag in their face,
Right.
and they say, "Well, hang on a second. Well, wait and let me get off first, tosser."
Yeah.
Or
Do
worse.
you know what?
Have you ever
Right,
heard of that?
2 seconds, hang on, because right. So this is what you said there is hilarious, because when you're trying to get on a coach at the minute, as soon as the coach comes, people just like herd through. It's like a load of sheep trying to get through a tiny little
Yeah.
gate. And it's like, what happened to politely queuing? First come, first get on, and that whatever happened to that? And now it's just like it's just like a free for all. And where does it get you? I mean, I laughed at the driver because he got off and he went, "Look, you either let me through because this coach ain't going anywhere without me, and I've got stuff to do over there first." He said, "So you either let me through, or you've got a longer wait." And I just thought, well, yeah, fair enough. But it's just, if you don't barge your way through now, it's like, well, what the hell is that going to achieve? But I want to elaborate on something that Paul mentioned, which is sort of politeness and things like that. I agree with you, and respect and politeness. Okay, that's great, but I think this goes all the way back to consideration, right? So under natural law, we've got something called the principle of care, and I know Holly's got a problem with that particular wording of it, which is fair enough, but the idea is, if you have no consideration for others, then what you're basically saying is that you are important and nobody else matters. That's promoting effectively to satanic principles. Service to self. I will do what I want, and I don't care about the consequences. That's what we are lacking. If we don't have respect, if we don't have consideration, if we don't have politeness, if we don't have discipline, then what we're basically saying is that it's a free for all, and we've got chaos. Right, and so anything's acceptable as long as I come first. It's all about me, 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 me. That propagates narcissism. It leads us into a very, very dark place. And guess who comes in to save the day? Which is nanny state. Oh, well, we'll take these misbehaved children and teach them how to do things that we want them to do, as long as it's not practical information that can help them grow and be independent, and be able to be autonomous and functional member of society. They've taken it, and so
you guys
just bring back that again. Bring back sovereignty. Bring back the ability to take care of yourself, which is, i.e., the principle of self-defense, and have consideration for others. Have that principle of care. Have that self-respect and that integrity and the dignity in your own behaviors. Your own. I can't bloody think of the word now, but if we don't bring that back, we're just going to spiral into chaos. And I think we're there now at the minute. And again, okay, let's learn from this. We know what happens next. We've seen it in the history books. We know it's not going to end well. So why don't we take this and learn from it and stop it in its tracks?
Yes, I'd agree with Exo here. I'm joking, of course.
Doesn't it come down to that simple scriptural command to do unto others as you would have them do unto you? It's really that. It is that simple. And I've mentioned it when I'm out on my walks, whether I feel like it or not, I'm always smiling and being jolly with people because I think it's the right thing to do. And it always works. People will respond with a smile if you give them one. I know it sounds sort of like, what? And that's going to fix the world. Yeah, it is actually, because the more, you were talking earlier about people not whistling. All of these are indications of people that get insular, self-focused and becoming miserable because of it. No man is an island. None of us. And we do have to live with other people. And it's down to you to pick and choose to make sure that you end up in a crowd, a peer group that works for you. You'll never get 100% agreement about what you're talking about. And that's good because that gives you something to push against. And I think, do you ever, I was going to say, are you guys familiar with a magazine? It's just a little thing that I remembered when we were talking about politeness. There's a magazine called The Chap. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you ought to look it up. It's wonderful. It came out, started in the 90s, and it basically paints a lifestyle of like the English well-dressed toff. It's extremely amusing, right? All the guys wear trilbies, and they're always talking about what cravat should I get for the season. And they used to send their photographs in dressed up. They go, am I chap? In other words, am I presentable to to the public. And there was there was an event that they staged, I think about 2005, where they got a coach load of them all dressed up natty with trilbies on and proper, the whole gear. How'd you imagine a gent would be? And they went down to Oxford Street during the Christmas rush. And I haven't got the article in front of me. I was looking for it. If I had, I'd read bits from it because it was very funny. But they got out of the thing, and the article said there was an outbreak of extreme levels of politeness on Oxford Street last Saturday. And these guys were getting out, and they were doffing their trilbies and saying, "Good morning, madam," and all this kind of stuff, much to the amusement and happiness of everybody that they bumped into. They just sent out an energy wave that we can behave this way. And of course, people used to do it on autopilot because people around them used to behave like that. And they would speak to each other in a respectful way, whether that person's deserving of respect or not. What it does is it promotes good behavior in the entire group setting. You go, I quite like
brilliant.
this.
I like
it's a ripple effect. It's osmosis.
Thanks.
That's how we behave in crowds. You go, well, what do you want to behave like, crowd? Do you want to just get covered in beer and just sort of have a fight? Some people do. That's not for me. But if you want to go around and be polite and say, "Good morning, madam, and can I open the door for you?" And that's what they were doing. They were really laying it on thick in a theatrical sense, knowingly, with a nudge and a wink of the, and everybody bought into it. And it was just, I'm going, I wish I'd been there because I'd want to join in too. It becomes... It replicates. People go, "I like this. I'm going to do it for 5 seconds anyway." And guys were turning their girlfriends and holding their hands and escorting them across the road. All of these things. You go, is this adding to the quality of life? I would say yes. I'd like to be around a lot more of that. This is a good thing. You're going to get more intelligent communication. You're going to get calmer thinkers. You're going to get people smiling more. They're going to be more open to other people, and ideas percolate more rapidly. And it's so subtle. It's so subtle how we operate well, and it's very easy to disturb it. Unfortunately, we are a disturbed people.
Have you seen what they've done in America? In one of the states? Now, you can't believe all the documentaries. When I had a television, which was about 15 years ago, they showed you this. They're getting ex-military people, mainly black, who know literally how to dress and everything. And they are starting, and it's voluntary, for boys and girls, how to become gentlemen and ladies. And you see this chap who is an ex-commander, and he'd say, "Right, I want you to shake my hands and grip it as tightly as you can and look me straight in the eye." That's how a gentleman shakes hands. And these kids are really rising to it. They're really they like it. Make your shoes. I mean, my granddad, he was born in 1888. He was a Victorian gentleman. His shoes, like my dad, was immaculate. And he would doff his cap. His trilby. He had a trilby. He'd doff his cap. He behaved like a real gent. We should bring that back, where a lady is a lady, a gentleman is a gentleman, and they respect each other. Highly respectable. So when a woman meets a man, he's not going to F and blind at her. She knows she's in a safe pair of hands. So if any mug or anything comes along, she's with a man who's going to protect her. And how many times do you walk along the road and you see the woman walking on the side of the road? No, if I'm with a woman, I will walk on the side of the road. The woman is the other side. That's something that has been inbred into me.
I guess
when a lady sits down,
Does that depend if she's really nagging or not? You think, come on, where's this?
Yeah.
Hang on, there's a lorry coming.
It's like what you talked with that thing you were just talking about with the States there, Eric. It's a bit like, you remember the thing of finishing school for ladies?
Yes,
that whole thing. School, not that obviously I'm not a lady, so I would never have gone to one. But the idea, I know they were wealthy families that did it, but they had to go off and learn certain things, and deportment, and how to behave in crowds, and how to. And look, working men that were minors, their daughter's not going to meet the ambassador of Bratislava or whatever. I get that, but there's something extremely encouraging about it. And is it not possibly the case that we fake it until we make it? If you act away. If you go, someone says, "You're just acting," and go, "Yeah. And what's your point? Exactly. What act do you want to act?" Because everybody says, "I'm not acting." Go, "Yeah, you are. I'm acting right now." We've all
Everybody is.
developed kind of a persona, haven't we? We've built it up. The sentences and the way that we think is the result of all of the life that you've lived and all the choices you made along the way. And you went, I like this, I don't like that. And you've selected and picked things all along the way, and it's molded you into the character that you are. And it's an act. People go, I haven't got an act. Oh, you do. And it's cool because you couldn't live without one. You're going to have an act.
Yeah.
The thing is to go, can I control this act? Of course you can. There's a script writer. Who is it? It's you. Start writing a new script, like on an individual level. You mean I could act like this? Of course you could. Pretend that you're a millionaire. Just act like one. Act like it. See how it goes.
The thing is, there's snobbery as well. I hate snobbery. And this is the trouble. It went too far. But these snobs. No, a gentleman makes everybody feel at ease and can speak to anybody and make them feel at ease. And this is how I think it should be. A lady should do the same. I mean, whatever you say about Diana, Lady Diana, there's lots of dirt dug up about her, all kinds of stuff. But I can only tell by what I've seen, what's been filmed about her. She spoke to people on their level, and she would alter her vocabulary accordingly, so she didn't mention words that an ordinary, person wouldn't understand. She was educated, yes, but she wasn't snobbery. She was on their level. If she spoke to a child, she'd get down to that child and speak on their level, not talk down to them. She was what I've seen. I don't know what happened behind the back scenes. All right, she got up to a few naughty things, but she acted as a lady. And this is the thing. The Queen didn't, because the Queen did not get down. To me, the Queen should have got down to the person's level. If someone's disabled, you get down to their level. You talk to them eye to eye on their level. That's politeness. And I think that this is the thing. People confuse politeness with snobbery or gentlemanliness and ladiness. No, I hate snobbery. I loathe slobbery.
Well, the English are prone to that. There's an aspect, there's a certain type of English people, those that rapidly make money or whatever, they take on airs and graces that are never convincing. And I think somebody used a word earlier on, maybe Nathan or Eric, I can't remember. But I think the quality you're talking about there is humility. It's not being humble and supine, and it's not about that. It's about not overly impressing yourself on other people. It's what's the word? Is it empathy? It's something like that. You basically you get in at the level that they're at in terms of energy, rhythm of speech. We used to do this. I know this sounds weird. When we're on the telephone, right? When I was sitting on the telephone for 2 years, flogging stuff and setting up appointments. When you start off, you're really bad at it because all you're trying to do is push whatever it is that you learn, and you get broken down as a communicator. It's very tough because you keep hitting no's all the time, and you have to get clear in a way that you're creating them. You go, no, I'm not. Yeah, you are, by the manner, the way that you deal with. And so one of the observations about the way, for example, that people speak is you would harmonize. If they spoke slowly, if you're speaking to a financial director and he's thoughtful with a lot of pauses, you start to do the same thing. Now you go, this is devious. No, it isn't. It's harmonizing. So the guy at the other end starts to think and feel that he's talking to someone who's operating in a very similar way to the way he does. And we do this quite naturally in day-to-day situations. You don't even realize you're doing it. If you are trying to create a kindly atmosphere, this is exactly what you do. You'll do it quite naturally. You won't even know you're doing it. You don't sort of go in and try and burr or cause a friction. I mean, some people do, of course. You do come across these people that do intentionally seek to do that sort of thing. But what you're trying to do is you're sending a signal back to the other person that you kind of understand you're operating on a similar wavelength. It's not exactly the same, and you're not trying to just mimic them, but you harmonize with the way that they talk. And then if you need to get the energy up after you've had a couple of minutes doing that, you'd start to increase the speed. And what you find is that the other person would also increase their speed because they feel they're with someone who understands the way that they feel about things. It's very important. And it's not sort of manipulative. People say, oh, this is manipulative. No, it isn't, because all you're trying to do is get to the truth of a thing. In the end, you have a proposition. You have an invite. In telephone calls, when you're pitching stuff, there's an invitation. The invitation is either to buy something or to set up another telephone call or whatever. There's an invite. There's an actual purpose to the communication. It's not just like, what's the weather like and this, that, and this. Right, great. Listen, the reason you get to this, the reason I called is that we've got this event taking place in 3 weeks. Do you think you'd be able to make it? Oh, I'll have a look. It all depends how they feel. And it's this. I mean, I know I've gone into a slightly sort of specified area of it, but when communication is working well between people, that stuff is just occurring quite naturally. It's just a natural sort of thing. And people back off and you get more accommodating spaces. And then both people in the conversation, it might be more than two, feel heard. They feel heard. And most normal people never feel heard. That's why they're wound up to buggery. I mean, in a political sense, we're not heard at all. In fact, we're intentionally dismissed. We're not allowed to have a voice. Yeah. And this is part of the great psychological trauma, you could say, that we're in, which always expresses itself, if left unchecked, as violence, I'm afraid. History shows that this is what happens if you are ignored and dismissed and demeaned and humiliated and cast off as some thick peasant. In the end, you just go, I've had enough. You just break. You just go, this ain't on. It's disrespect at a level of, it's more than rudeness. It's something that's destroying who you are. And you go, I can't have this. And that's why people kick off every now and again when they've not been heard, when they've not been acknowledged.
That's an understandable thing. It's understandable. People have got a breaking point. Exactly. Yeah. But if they don't get like an outlet, or or the pressure builds up too much, they're going to explode. So we've been taught now to just put up with things. But if, even I'm in situations where I'll just be like, right, fuck this, I've had enough, and I'll just I'll let loose. But it shouldn't be like that. Well, it should be calm and contained, and
What I hate is people that abuse politeness and look at it as a weakness. Now, they're the spoilt brats I've worked with. I've worked with spoilt brats that looks at politeness as a weakness, and they're generally narcissists as well, who will use it against you. But I still continue. I think it's that the aim, I think, is to bring children up with, again, self-respect and respect for other people. That's really all it is. It's respect for others and politeness. And this is the trouble. What's in the government? Spoilt brats. That's all it is. Spoilt brats. Look at MPs. Spoilt brats.
But of course, the plan has always been to break up the family unit, hasn't it? That's what's been going on over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, when in my youth, my childhood, we did family things together. You'd play board games, things like that. As sad as it may be, but you did things as a family. And as time's gone by, now today's mums and dads, the solution to dealing with the child is to give them a mobile phone. That's now their parent.
Sadly true.
They probably see more of the phone than they do of their own mum and dad. But of course, it's not just about that. It's also things like, as you said earlier on, Paul, that the price of things is going up to a point where both mom and dad have to go out to work. So you lose your family. The family is being broken apart at every opportunity. Xboxes, gaming consoles, they're there again to stop people sitting in the living room and having a chat. Or what have you done today? Where have you been? What do you want to do on Saturday? Where should we go? What should we? No, don't talk to me. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, whatever. I need to shoot this copper in the face. Things like that.
The problem with that is I mean, I agree with you, but not all kids. So it's like schools now. They're all requiring the kids to have tablets. So they have to. I mean, I didn't even realize this. I mean, it's like they've got to log into this app now and it tells them what tasks they've got to do. It's like it's not only. It's not only that they have to go to school now and spend a massive quarter of the portion of their life at school, but now they're bringing the homework home, and even that's not enough. So now they have to be constantly monitored on an app and be told what to do at all times during the. They get a week off and they're told you have to do that, and that. Well, your week off, right? And so what that does is it gets them, and again, it's all deliberate. It gets them hooked on their tablets and their devices, right? And so that, because it's now a requirement, and then it's. Then if you don't have one, then you seem to be uncool, right? So then you've got the peer pressure to add on to that, and then on top of that, you've got to keep up with all with all of your apps, and what are my friends doing? If I don't do that, then I'm going to be out of the loop. And so it's a bit. I agree with you, and it's a massively vicious cycle. And one of the things from my childhood that did massive amounts of damage was, control computers. I had a Commodore 64 when I was, 10-year-old. And the only thing that I really learned from that is I've got a horrendous temper and I really, really can't stand, it damages you and it gets you hooked. And the more hooked you get, the more you're reeled into it. So it's okay. And again, I agree with you. The children are hopelessly hooked on devices these days, but so is everyone else. My daughter's got a tablet. She's got a phone. I didn't want her to have it, but it was just one of those things. It's like, right, well, I can't be there at all, at all times. And if she doesn't do that, then there's things that she's learned to do for herself through that as well. I mean, she's learned to be pretty. She can edit videos and things. I don't know how to do that. So it can be productive. It can be a good thing as well as a bad thing. But I see what you're saying, Paul, and it's not there to disagree with you. I just think it's a very, very vicious net that they've clawed us all into. And how do we get out of that without completely EMPing the whole system and then going back 30, 40 years? Well, I mean, that's one way of doing it. I'm not totally against getting rid of smartphones.
If the technological age has brought with it problems that we're only beginning to see more fully as we mature through it. They're considerable as well. It's understandable why it came about. I mean, I was reading something the other day about, this is going to sound a bit of a weird sort of connection, but about the French Revolution. And it was it was a very short couple of paragraphs. And the gist of it was that Europe, up until that point, or up until the point of the Reformation, had been tightly controlled by the authorized hierarchy of church systems, which it had. Okay, and if you think, if we'd have been around 500 years ago, well, we wouldn't be having this show because the technology didn't exist. But there were certain communication opportunities, and there weren't even many then, because when you went to church, you weren't allowed to talk. You had to listen to that bloke at the end of the hall, right? And they were telling you what to do. So when scripture got changed into English, this began this change. It was basically an invitation to the peasant to begin to self-teach. And it's as if after the Reformation, there was this kind of explosion in science. I mean, they call it the Enlightenment and everything, okay, which, it was. We had the great industry up to a point. But what's occurred is that technology has replaced something. You could call it theology. I'm not talking about specific organized religions. I'm just saying that part of people's lives has been diminished and replaced by toys. The great distractathon, I call it. We're kind of and it's not that it hasn't got practical value. It does. There's just as you said, video. These things are good in many ways, but there's something has been lost, and it's as if the French Revolution was almost like this reaction, and a hellishly evil one in part. There was lots of influences on it against all these authoritarian structures of the church, and it suddenly turned into this waffle. Liberty, equality, fraternity, complete horse shit from start to finish. But people had been suppressed for so long, it was a ruction, and an extremely vicious, evil and violent one at that. One which I don't think the French have ever really fully recovered from. I'm serious. As a psychological blow into the tribe as a whole, bang, it's a major thing. It's like an earthquake through the nervous system of their entire tribe. The other thing I was just going to mention as well was, we did a show some time back about exam papers from the 1800s. We did a show, dug up some exam papers from Britain and from America, and looking at the caliber of the questions that were being asked of 14-year-olds. We got an exam paper from England about 1865 and one from America about 1895. The quality of these questions being asked these children, most A-level students would not be able to answer them. There were only 2 pages, like the general exam, 50 questions. 50 questions. It was 3 hours or 2.5 hours to answer all these questions. They would be beyond the skill of most of the teachers today in terms of the precise use of language. And this too is kind of a reflection of the age. I mean, if I think about these odd little things like life was running at the speed of a horse or a man running. That was it. That's the fastest anything could go. I know you got trains arriving, right? But the speed of life was a horse. That was it. Nothing went faster than a horse. And because of that, there was all this time that people had to think and operate in a more distilled and deeper fashion about things, just in general family life, even though many people were educated. But, they started an education system, of course, to get them into industry and to make use of them as sort of slave labor, in engineering factories and down coal mines and everything like that. So it always had his agenda. But it's a different speed of life, and it produced a different type of person, a more thoughtful person. And I think to hold it together, all of these conventions of respect and decency between people were very well established and grew very strongly during that period. Now we've had a thing, particularly since, I suppose, radio more than anything else. If you look at radio, which is 1920s, it changed things. The whole landscape of the speed of communication and of the operating power of the government was amplified colossally by radio. And suddenly they took certainly over here, there was no commercial radio. So you just had the BBC. This is the voice of the BBC. And this is the voice of God. And we're going to tell you how it's all going to be. And it's going to be like this, you see. And so it was, because there were no other ways through. We've had now the change to the other side. Everybody's been apparently given full reign, but now, of course, they're checking that with all of these sort of restrictions technically. And for your safety now, we've got to monitor everything that you do. I mean, what was this thing?
Right. Harmful.
Starmer's just come out and said you can't have VPNs because you have to have proper use of the internet.
Like, we didn't see that coming a mile away.
Because it could be it could be harmful.
It could be harmful.
Could be harmful.
And this goes into what you were saying about spoiled brats, Eric. Yeah, these spoiled brats are basically, there must be a part of them, not that we would ever be able to get a communication out of them to this degree, but I think there must be a part of them that's in panic mode, because what they're really scared of is more and more people discovering that they don't need them. Because we don't.
Correct.
The actual truth is they're not needed. Certainly not to the ever-expanding degree that we've got right now. And, go back to that thing, 1859, British Empire at its height, 16,000 civil servants. Today, for just the UK, 500,000. 500,000 civil servants with computers, which are supposed to systemize and simplify and make all this. It's being used the wrong way. The bureaucratic people don't want to lose their jobs. And so whether they know it consciously or unconsciously, probably unconscious, they've created all these extra periphery stuff. I mean, laser printers, my God, they're responsible. You see these people go, here's a 95-page report. Bloody hell, when you had a typing pool, it had to be 2 pages. You had to get to the bloody point. And so communication was clearer, crisper, easier. People knew where they stood, and you had to get on with it. You go, no, there's only 5 points. We're not here to discuss this. Let's have another bloody meeting. But the world's just a series of meetings postponing people confronting the fact that we don't need them. We actually don't need you. You're the problem. But it's going to be very difficult to get them to actually confront that one, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering when you're saying that, and I absolutely agree with you. But I mean, as an experiment, I mean, if I would encourage everyone in chat to at least try this with a couple of people as well. Just start a conversation saying, well, do you think government's necessary, and what value does government add to your life, and why? What do you think would happen if you remove government? And I suspect it'll be all the programmed responses, it'll be all the conditioned responses. Oh, well, things would descend into chaos, and there'd be no rules, and that's what I would expect the people to say. And yet, that's the conditioned response. That's the response that the government has given you to ensure that you never let the government out of your life. So. I love conversations with people like this, but you do get frustrated at just how, again, programmed and conditioned they are at the same time, because you think, well, I'm just banging my head against a brick wall half the time, because there's some people you're never ever going to get through to,
Well, Alex Gorgeous. Sorry, carry on, please.
So it was like that with this stabbing that took place at Huntingdon. The amount of people who've sent messages to me saying, "Oh, it's dangerous to use public transport, trains now." I said, it's not. It's been staged, and I've decoded this and proved it. I proved it all the way down to the unit was involved, and it's all completely staged. And if people could see through that and see, like with Survival Stevie's shit hot on gematria, if people could see that, they'd understand that actually the news is all a pack of lies. They'd never take any notice of it, and that would basically collapse the whole system, because it's it's the fact that people fall for these things over and over and over again. That if they just need to learn to see through it, and okay, someone's been stabbed
I
on a
agree.
train, but it's
And do
been
you hear that
staged.
plonker coming out? Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over there, but do you hear that plonker, Home Secretary, saying that we're going to have train stations like airport security?
Yeah, this is so. Let me guess. Hold on a minute. For our safety and security, we need a digital ID so that we can stop the stabby people from getting on the trains, because that happens every day, doesn't it? Okay, it does happen occasionally, but I agree with you, Paul. I think it's all staged, and it's all leading up to even more control, even more less personal responsibility. But the other thing that it does as well is it makes people less likely to communicate. It makes people suspicious of one another, right? So it's breeding a culture of suspicion.
That's
It's like,
it.
oh,
That's what they
I'm
want.
looking at them over there, and they look a bit funny, and they're a bit twitchy, or they're acting a bit funny. So I'm gonna then. And so what is that? It creates a divide. And it creates a fear, an atmosphere of, sorry, no pun intended, but it creates an atmosphere of fear and tenseness and anxiety. And so then that's less likely going back to the politeness, the consideration for others, the respect for others. People are less likely to have that attitude because they're operating from a position of, well, are they going to come over here and, cause a problem for me? And again, I don't doubt that everything that we hear in the news, or at least the mainstream, I think a lot of it is just it's scripted. And
Yep.
yes,
I
people are
agree.
genuinely getting hurt from it. I'm not saying that there's no. I wouldn't say that. In fact, I think they get off on people getting hurt. If I'm being honest, but again, this is what people accuse us of being conspiratorial for. It's, oh yeah, well everything's a conspiracy to you. Yeah, well I'm not being funny, but it looks like it, and it acts like it, and it has the desired outcome that they're trying to push through. So yeah, I do think it's a conspiracy, and I do think there's a lot of well, take your pick. I'm going to choose my words carefully at that point, but at least we're aware of it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, the fact of the matter is, it's always problem, reaction, solution. And the mindset of a psychopath, what I've found, is to create suspicion.
Yeah.
They survive on creating suspicion. The
Yeah.
more suspicious people are of each other, the more they're in control or feel they're in control.
Right.
Oh, and that's exactly what happened to the bozo that married into my family. First thing this character did was to create suspicion all the way through. And that again is their lifeblood. And when I've worked with them, what do? They create suspicion. What does the government do? Create suspicion.
They feed off fear, right? I know this is a thing. I mean, David Icke's been on about this for years, and he's absolutely right. Is that if you can control people through fear and emotion, everything falls into place for them, for the people who come in and your rescuers, the ones who are doing things for your safety, for your security, for your well-being, for your health and safety. Again, I mean, at this point, we're just kind of going over old ground, but it's
for the common good. That's another
for the common good. Yeah. Is that a new one? Yeah, the common good. I mean, again,
that's the communist one.
But if we all turned our television off, if we all switched the mainstream off, they'd lose that grip. All right, they would seriously, and I think they are starting to lose that grip, which is why I think they're stepping up things like censorship and internet restrictions and digital IDs. The whole point of that is because they are losing their grip and they want to maintain it, they want to cement it.
Well, as I said in that article that I wrote, again, please go on to the Telegram channel because there's some very good Telegram channels, and I think it's better than I was about Facebook, and that's something I was going to mention. On Facebook, I'm almost up to 300 members. Almost up to 300, sir.
Well, like the Spartans.
Sorry.
Like the Spartans.
About Facebook. Like the Spartans, 300 members. And no, but on Telegram, which I spend more time on, that's what I was. What did I mean? Sorry, I've lost my bleeding thread of thought now. What was it? We was talking about. You said something, Nathan. I've just got off. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, Telegram. You got a Cult Academy, which is Nathan. A Survive the Apocalypse, and Fockham Hall Radio. So, and the links are down below here in my crutch. No, sorry, the description. So there we go. Just sort of a little break. And also, of course, there is. What is your one, Paul? As we're doing a plug. So plug
Paul
away,
English Chat.
Paul.
It's called All English chat.
All English chat, and the Soapbox as well, radiosoapbox.com.
Yeah, it's not too lively. I mean, one of the things I've been doing with all this tech stuff is I don't spend every day grazing news feeds. I don't do that. Tomorrow I will barely look at it.
Can we?
Yeah, because it's not actually useful. There's so many constructive things to do, and they re-moralize you. They re-energize you. You just realize out of habit, you forget to include in your day those things that bring a little bit of magic in. Because you're just sort of, basically an onslaught. Yeah. No more analysis is needed. We don't need any more. And we're not conspiracy theorists. We're conspiracy analysts. And we've analyzed it 95% of the way through. All you're going to see now is different forms of the same scam. Yeah. And you probably need to be aware of them up to a point, simply because so you could engage someone, in a conversation. Have you heard about this stabbing? Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Don't you care? No. Why? But not for the reasons you think, and stuff like that. I think the other thing as well, what we're doing here, and we're not the only people doing it, but being in a peer group where you're on a similar wavelength is really, really important. You need a peer group. Totally. You need a little team around you, because it keeps you sane. And when there's 2 or 3 of you, you're putting out 10, 15, 20 times the amount of an energy field than when it's just you, because people are swayed by agreement. They're just, if you're in a discussion and someone, you think you're the only voice, but someone there that you didn't know steps in and goes, yeah, I've heard about that. I think you're right about it. It changes the whole atmosphere instantaneously. These things are important. So you have to be careful how you tread when you're talking to new people. But when it gets going, you generally find, in my experience, that there's more people actually tuned into what we're saying here. They're just generally more circumspect about voicing it. Sometimes you have to be the gobby one that gets it going.
That's the whole idea, isn't it? The whole idea is to shut them up and make them fearful. Can we just in line with this? Sorry, Paul, I don't mean to cut you off there, but there's a couple of comments that are up there that are brilliant.
What about Haji? This is a brilliant one. I want them all.
Well, you would say that because you're the Prime Minister of football.
That's right. We've got some good MPs here. That's right. He said that without me grovelling, so that's all right, isn't it? Bloody hell. Checks in the post.
You keep bribing them with fuck bombs.
You did put your crotch earlier, though.
Give me a blatant ego trip, that has.
But do you not think...
Can we stick Blu-ray 144 on a second? Just say, he says there, yes, and no one trusts anyone, divide and conquer, because that's pivotal from what we're saying there. It's exactly what they're doing. And again, what Paul said there, it's the same stuff on repeat. It's the same tactics, it's the same agendas. And I've warmed up. Unfortunately, it takes about an hour for me to get there.
Is that the one? That's the one. Yes,
that one. Right. So then we've got another one. Right. So Trees M.
Yeah. Here we are. Trees M.
Yeah. So these are all like brilliant. This tells me that the chat is definitely thinking in the right direction. Right. So the more they try and silence people, the more people are talking. Yeah, it is. My problem with that is they seem to be stepping up and trying to go ever faster. But yeah, you're right. There is more people asking questions. There is more people that can see what's going on, and that's good. We need to keep that up.
Yes.
Oh God, there was a few more.
Gary Garner. Sorry, not Garnet. I'm terribly sorry.
that was one of them.
Don't talk about community, creating, love, self-sufficiency. Blu-ray. If they did, then very few would be financially poor. I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, again, it's going back to that. The useful skills that your parents taught you that you could learn from your community. It's all of that. It's a practical skills that we've now lost, and that's part of that. They don't want us to be part of a community. They don't want us to be creative. My God, creativity is one of their worst things ever. They want to be the ones that control everything. If we keep creating new things, they've lost control of that as well. But there's tons of stuff on that. There's another one. Can we 2 seconds, mate? So we've got Alice has just said there, no leaders for me, thanks. I'm going to disagree with that because I think we do need leaders, and I know Eric has got a problem with this as well. I think we do need leaders. I just don't agree that we need rulers. We don't need rulers. We don't need tyrants. We don't need politicians. We don't need authority figures. We do need leaders. We need lots of leaders. We need people to take the initiative and step forward. And that's what I'd like to think we're doing here. It's taking that, it's taking the knowledge that we've got, it's taking the information and the know-how and the skills and whatever we've gathered along the years, and it's saying, right, we need to now step across the threshold, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? If not us, who is it? It's that old quote: if not you, who? And if not now, when? Right? It's exactly that. I think we do need leaders, but I understand where she's coming from for that, and I know I get. Because you've mentioned it a few times yourself as well, Eric, that, no leaders. I think we need lots of leaders. It doesn't mean that we've all got to be
I don't believe in
followers. It just
government.
means somebody's got to step first,
Yeah, but what about
Can I
groups
make
of
a
three?
diplomatic
That generally
suggestion?
works.
Instead of the word, just a word for you to consider to replace the word leader.
Yeah, go for it.
Is the word guide. I quite like guides.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just throwing it in there. It's a good word. In all the good situations, you have guides who are guides for generally a certain period of time. There comes a point where that guide's particular skill set has fully served the crowd, and they go, "You don't need me anymore now." That's really the true role of an honourable politician would be to put themselves out of work. Of course, they are hell-bent on making sure that never happens. So indirectly, they are always creating a new drama which justifies their continued existence and pay packet as a politician, which is why nothing can change through this system. From their point of view, the system works perfect.
Yeah.
It just works perfectly.
Well,
it's the ones that want it. So 2 seconds, mate. It's when we're talking about politicians and tyrants and people who want to lead the way or guide. It's the ones that don't want to give that power up once the job's done. It's the ones that want to maintain that and build upon it and then start to take advantage of everyone for their own benefit. Service to self. Again, we're back to Satanism again, right? Service to self. Screw everyone else's needs. Forget consequentialism, right? So we've got to differentiate between the authentic leader, guide. I'm sure there's 100 other words we can use in that particular instance as well, but we've got to be careful of the ones that enjoy the power trip a little bit too much. Those are the ones that we don't want, because those are the ones that are manipulating the leaders down the garden path for their own ends.
And they're the ones that you see. The trouble is that what I'm always concerned about is when there's a power vacuum, the psychopath and narcissist will step into that power vacuum.
Yeah, absolutely, and they do this. This is the problem.
I mean, look how
if you look at politicians. Sorry, but look at politicians. Look at religious authorities and things like that. What are they? Most of them, they're self-serving. Their authoritarian outlook is are they sociopaths? Are they narcissists? Are they psychopaths? I mean, they're very charismatic, which is how they know how to twist, manipulate, and control large groups of people. But then it pulls you into a cult, and before you know it, everyone's been herded.
You're right. Well, Blu-ray 144 said, "Good word, Paul. English guide or way showers." Now, the thing is this is the thing. We've got to for survival of society, we've got to weed out not all psychopaths, but psychopaths who are predatory psychopaths on humans. And as I've often said, stick them on an island on their own. They can do whatever they want there. They can. That's it.
I was discussing this with Holly about when you say about sticking people on an island and if they're psychopaths. So I don't agree with you fully on this one, because just because somebody's got psychopathy, right? So psychopathy is basically a part of your brain is dormant. So the emotional part, the empathy part, it's basically you are born without.
Hang on a moment. Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Not all. I only said the predatory ones.
Fair play.
Not all, because there are scientists, surgeons who have not harmed anybody.
Yeah, exactly that.
This is the thing. We've got to discriminate. I don't like the word not discriminate. We've got to dissimulate between the predatory ones and the other psychopaths, because there's a university lecturer who found out he was a psychopath, and he's one of the nicest guys you could ever wish to meet. This is the thing. But he admits, he said he couldn't give a shit if he upset somebody. He hasn't got that empathy, and he admits it. But he's a nice person. So,
there's a line, isn't there, Eric? There's a line. Don't you think there's a line? I think
there is a line.
Sometimes it's important when you're communicating with people to not give a shit about how they feel. We can't run civilization on feelings. It's about wisdom, which is generally hard fought and hard won for. There are moments when unemotional, direct communication are absolutely what's needed. There are other moments where tenderness and care and respect are needed. There's no one fixed situation, it seems to me, with all this. When you're saying about on an island, I was just thinking, well, does that mean us and all the listeners are psychopaths? Because we do live on an island, you know. I thought, I mean, and maybe there's a part of everybody that has that cold part of their personality. I've met people like that. At other points when you might meet them, they can be very warm and kindly. And when you're around people that clearly put out that signal, you tend to be, sensibly, I would suggest, in my case, I'm more guarded, finding out what mood they may be in at that particular time. You can get very hard. You know, the harshest words come generally, the ones that hurt the most are from people that you love, and they'll say something extremely unpalatable or hurtful without even knowing that they've done it. It can leave a big impact. At moments like that, you should bark back. And people are not trained to do that. They go, I couldn't possibly say that. Actually, you could. I remember we were doing trainings about that. It gets hysterically funny after a while.
What you're saying really is we should learn to bark back better. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah,
yeah. As a propaganda minister, I had to say that. It's it's essential.
I mean, politicians do this all the time. They never answer questions, do they? They never do it. On one level, I understand why they've developed this sort of this weird communication. People don't think it's weird. It's absolutely weird if you stand back and look at it. No politician is ever wrong. This means that there can never be an increase in wisdom down there. There never has been. Because they can't all be right, can they? But no one will admit it. And they think that by not admitting it, that they become bigger but they're not. They're diminished because of it, because they're demonstrating they don't have the capacity to understand where they've made mistakes. I don't want people like that guiding me. We accept that mistakes get made, but no one, there's communication I would love to hear, seriously, from the Prime Minister, not the current one. I'm not expecting anything. But there are communications that we could have heard that really would have struck a chord. Now, a man who didn't make it as Prime Minister but struck chords regularly because he was in service to the nation was Enoch Powell. He struck a chord because he was courageous enough to speak the truth. Now, look what happened to him. The rest of that pack of rats destroyed him because he is it's going back to this thing about speaking out in a crowd. When you speak out in that crowd, your careers are over. We therefore should not expect any individuals like that really to crop up much in that environment. The good point for us is we know that there's 650 arseholes and you don't want to spend any time with them. At least you can cross them off your, they're not coming around for Christmas lunch list. This is good. It's not many, but, there's loads more. You've got to view it in that way. But there could be communications that could be made by the leader of this or any nation that would galvanize and transform the country almost overnight. They could be made. You could probably write a few if they just sat down and said, listen, we've not had a chat like this for a couple of years. I've got to give you an honest appraisal of what's really taking place. We're going to be working tomorrow in our same way. But for now, just take time out. The country tonight for half an hour. I want to tell you certain things about why we're not achieving things and this, that, and the other. This is completely open. And people would go, fucking hell. They would. It would actually connect it with people's hearts. They go, there's someone who's prepared to tell us the truth. Whereas when you look at all of them, not one of them is prepared to do that because as people, they're not of much substance. They're not big people. They just want to be. And they've developed all these behavioral traits to try and imply that they are. So they have charisma. Yeah, but that ain't what we're looking for either. It's that vulnerability. Powell made himself vulnerable by speaking the truth. And you warm to people like that because you go, they're just like me. They cock up. I'll forgive you your cock-ups if you admit them and say, we're going to do this to try and correct it. If we fail, get the other party in. That's what you should say. If you serve in the country,
then they accuse you of being
serving the party in their own pocket.
That's what a famous person said who was Austrian with a funny moustache in the 1930s. I think I'm not sure the time period. I think it was 5 years. I think he said, give me 5 years to turn the country around or get rid of me. If after 5 years I haven't achieved it, get rid of me. He actually said that. Not exactly.
To be fair to Mr. Moustache, I mean, say what you like about him, but he got the job done in terms of infrastructure and economical.
1933, yes.
I'm very, very wary of the censors on this one, but he did. He's accused of being an idiot. He's accused of being skilled and stuff. Let's be honest. He wasn't. He was very, very capable. And I'm just going to, economically, I'm on about for infrastructure and turning the country's prospects around. I'm not.
Well, it was an economic miracle, and anybody would say that he turned it into because before that time, it was absolutely a poverty-stricken country. And His Royal Highness, yes, I know it is getting past your bedtime. We could hear the yawn there.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. I know. I'm sorry. We'll talk about buses for a little bit longer if you want. A little bit later. But
once upon a time, there was.
Yes, this Austrian painter and decorator. What we're talking about. No, he did get the job done. But the thing where he put the step wrong is abolishing usury. And that's what all the main conflict was about, because he couldn't get away with abolishing usury. And that's why it became a boom.
He's a good example to look at, because he faced all the challenges that we're talking about, but he was able to galvanize a sufficient number of his peer group to back him totally and to work with him. That's the big difference. That's the energy wave that went out. They had traitors. He had traitors with him that he had to deal with, sometimes in a severe way, i.e. having them killed, as in the Night of the Long Knives. And you go, would you be prepared to do that? That's not right. No, I agree with you. It's not right. But they were facing their particular challenges. We weren't born then. We're not of that culture. We're very close to it, but we're not of that culture. We can understand it from a law point of view. It's not to say it's yay or nay either way. You could, and it's not just about the ends justify the means. They don't. But when they were in a particularly excessive, hellish situation. We are going to get to that. And if left unchecked, and it may be unchecked for all sorts of reasons, and then someone will arise, nature will provide them. It always has throughout history. It's a certain set of circumstances. Someone may just have more confidence in a meeting, and 5 heads turn and go, I'll back you on that. And suddenly everything changes almost like in a moment or over a few hours. There's a different mood. Crowds can just move in that particular way. But
I agree with you.
We're unlikely to get that at this stage. We're dealing with weasels. It's very difficult to tell a weasel that he's a weasel, and for them to take it and change their behavior patterns. They're unlikely to do that. I don't think we should bank on that. But I think, in terms of local work, it's the best that we can do to keep ourselves enthused and to keep our eye on the fact that there is a better life available. I saw a wonderful thing earlier about someone was talking about England now. Fantastic. I'll send you it later on, Eric. It's just absolutely brilliant. An English guy being interviewed recently, and he was talking about what England was like when he was younger and what it's like now. And he said, this is a really telling line. He said some really intelligent things in the voice of the layman, which is the best voice we can find. And he was saying, I knew what it was like when I grew up, and it's not like that now. It's awful. And I just want to die in the England that I grew up in. And I thought that's absolutely, I felt that completely. It's exactly. And there are a lot of comments from people a lot younger than me, obviously people who've been born, say, from 1990 onwards or 1995, who've never known what were some of the things that we're talking about. They haven't known it. They've just known a technocratic world with phones and this high-pitched stuff and the vaccine crap and all this other stuff and these restrictions. They don't know about this space that used to exist here really quite recently, within living memory. I'm alive and I remember it, and you do, Eric, and others do, where there was a much greater sense of buoyancy amongst people. They moan, and people say, the 1970s was terrible because the miners went on strike. I remember being a teenager. I just thought it was hilarious. I didn't mind. No one got upset. I mean, it's just a joke. People who worked there look back and go, that must have been awful. No, it was no big deal at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Because if the mood of the country is all going in the same place, you can overcome anything. But when they're dictating what the mood is, that's the problem. It's like we're unhinged from our own story. We've got to listen to theirs. And their story is not a true story. It's a bogus one that's been bolted onto thousands of years of history, and it's completely off beam. It's totally, it's not right. It's like a mutant. It's a mutant version of England at the moment that we're living in. And that's what people feel. They might not, you feel that. You feel that it's completely out of whack.
Right. I remember the time when you put television. Sorry, carry on, Paul. Yeah, it's okay,
I
mate.
suppose even back, even like the miners, that was a community of their own. And I was just going to say that I think we have quite a good community amongst ourselves. Yeah, I think we're all in different parts of the country, but we all get on.
Yeah.
We all have a good chat. And I don't know, we were saying earlier on about sometimes when you're in the truth community, you can feel sort of isolated because one of us may know stuff, but everybody else around you is a sheep. But we all get on. It's nice having this community that where we all think alike. We all have differences. That's what makes us all individuals. But we all get
That's
on, and
interesting.
I think it's fantastic. I think really really good stuff. I think it's good
I agree
vibe
with you,
on here
Paul.
all the
Actually,
time.
yeah, I agree. I think
And
but I would include, the chat in that, and obviously a lot of
Yeah,
members of the chat are in various groups that we're all in as well. I do think we've got a good community, and the idea that I
oh,
keep saying is that we have
very
to have unity of purpose. We don't have to agree on everything, but we do have to have a purpose that we can all stand behind. And again, to me, that is, and we've discussed it on here. It's about bringing decency back. It's about bringing morals back. It's about bringing consideration for others back. Love, care, community, family. All of these things that bind society together and make us productive. That's what they don't want us having. Therefore, the solution is to have the things that they don't want us to have, and to keep
yeah,
promoting that, to keep pushing it. And I mean, I'm hoping that the truth movement, freedom of whatever you want to call it, it's gone through a toxic phase the last couple of years, especially, I mean, okay, I understand why a lot of people fell for psyops, and and it divided a lot of us against each other, but hopefully now we're coming back a little bit wiser, knowing what to look out for, knowing those little traps, and now saying, well, actually, we don't need to be right about everything. We just need to be open-minded and discerning and learn from things, and come together and just say, right, enough's enough. We know what the problem is. We know that our freedoms are being stripped from us. So that to me is what we should all be banding together. We know we've got the information. We've got access to all of this stuff. If we come together, we're a force to be reckoned with. If we don't, we've done their job for them. We've allowed ourselves to be divided and conquered. What's the point in any of this? We might as well just take our microchip, take the stabby thing in the arm, and just be good little slaves. Well, I'm not up for that.
Oh, and the
Personally.
other thing, talk about stabby things. They're thinking of banning pointed knives. So what you're going to do about your Swiss Army knife? That's pointy, isn't it? So I mean,
it's almost like they're trying to disarm us because they're prepping for something. I mean, that's just silly conspiracy talk, though, isn't it?
What about barber's scissors? They're going to have a bleeding trouble, and they're going to have all their blunt scissors going.
But again, right? So we've discussed this already. What are they doing? The children have got pointy objects, and they can't be trusted. So for the safety of the children, we must then remove anything that can cause harm to them by them. I mean, again, this is nanny state on steroids. No thanks.
Oh, I'm
No, you're
sorry.
all right.
Thank you so much.
Well,
That's very
I
kind.
was just thinking about that with regards to this, the planned airport style security at railway stations. Well, at the moment you can get on a train with anything, can't you? They'll have that many wheelie bins full of scissors and and aerosols and hang about, you've got a sponge there that could injure someone. Put it in that bin. Yeah, people.
Well, you might be able to suffocate someone with a sponge. You're not thinking it through, Paul. A sponge is very, very dangerous these days.
Exactly. So people will be getting on the trains and be had no luggage. We met that much luggage, you won't be able to get in the frigging station in the first place.
Oh, hang on.
But it's crazy, though, isn't it?
About cutting your hands off because you've got fists. You could hurt someone with a fist, so you better sort of be limbless, so you don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just getting bleeding.
I bet Keir Starmer likes them.
Yes,
Steady. That's an arrestable offence these days, Paul. Careful.
Yes. As I've said, he likes him and his friend Al. He like going up the Arsenal football grounds. Yes. So, yes.
I think there are lots. I think there are many good signs, though. I think people are prepared to talk about race, ethnicity, what it is to be English in our case. It's popping up. I just see it. It's as if there's a little lexicon, a little dictionary that is required so that people really understand the terms of what we're talking about. For example, and much of this damage, of course, has been done since 1948 with the Race Relations Act and all these other things. And apparently we are the only country in the world that can be racist. Everybody's racist, and it doesn't mean anything. It's a stupid thing. It's called in-group preference, and every every race has it, and it's cool. It's the way it's designed. Nature is, and it's to get these toxic, what are considered now to be toxic topics. Oh, you can't talk about that. Whenever anybody says that, that's exactly what needs to be talked about. It's finding ways, soft ways, of getting them to consider it when they walk away from the conversation, and to think it through, and to realize that what we're actually seeking to avoid is the very situation that they think that we're propagating. We're not. It's the complete opposite of that. The actual people that hate all the races are the ones that are in charge of our nations. They hate them all. They don't give a toss about it. And all their words are used in reverso language. When they talk about diversity, they're talking about smashing and destroying all the natural diversity that nature has drummed up. You can't just come, we have a situation where people come into this nation and they get the vote. Well, you can't have that. That's it. Now, I can't put that into force, but you can't. No one can come here and be English. You just can't. It's impossible. Sorry, it's just tough. I can't go to Japan and become Japanese. I could live there for 50 years, become the mayor of Japan. I'm never, ever going to be Japanese. Deal with it. It ain't happening, right? You are what you are. And it's this sort of dream world that communism, of course, we're all going to be equal and all this other guff. No, you're deranged. You don't comprehend actuality correctly. You don't actually see things properly. You're calling a bus a tractor. This is useless. We can't communicate with you. You need to go and live somewhere where you're happy. You can't play a role here, not because it's me, but because nature already decided that before you rocked up. It's these things.
Mate, I'll start believing the politicians. When the politicians are telling us that we're all equal and we're all on the same foot, and I'll believe them when they start giving up their power, their money, their mansions, and all of their authority. If they set the example, I'll start believing that. But I don't really think that's going to happen somehow.
Well, no, but it's an unattainable goal, isn't it? The pursuit of equality is the pursuit of a deranged individual. It can't be achieved. It's never ever. It can't exist. Nature is literally built on the complete absence of it permanently at all times. It's not there. It's the wrong thing. And what it appeals to is people that just want to help up in life and all that. I don't want to see people suffer. People go, you just hate everybody else. I ain't got the time or the energy to sit around hating other people. None of us have done that. What we're saying is we're more like engineers. We're going, look, there's an engineering problem here. Yeah. If you mix oil and water, you get a complete cock up. Stop doing it. But that's you're being biased against the oil. What? What are you talking about? It's like, you hate these other people. No, we hate the situation. It's got nothing to do with it, right? Why do you think why are you trying to diminish them as well? What? They don't get it. And there's a lot of this feeble thinking. It's not even thinking at all. It's this rote repetition of things that have been drummed into their heads, like the French thing, liberty, fraternity, egalite. It's complete horseshit. Liberty, by the way, I don't want liberty. Liberty is what you get when they let you off the ship and say you're free for a bit, but when you get back on the ship, you're under our control. I don't want liberty. You can piss off. You don't get permission to tell me when I'm free or not, and then call me back onto the ship and start kicking shit at me again. We don't want liberty. All these words, many of the words that people use, are completely hijacked and totally misunderstood. People don't get, and they're using language wrong. We don't want democracy either. Look at the result of it. Just look at the result of it. People don't look at what's happened with it. It's shit. It's complete shit.
Democracy. Was it you or Paul that was on about capitalism last night on yesterday's show? Because one of you made a good point about capitalism as well, and again, it's people will defend capitalism as if it's this great thing. It's not. It's just another tool.
No, but I believe in free enterprise, which is different to capitalism. Free enterprise is far different to capitalism, because Henry Ford was a free enterprise enthusiast, and they asked him why didn't he take over Lockheed, and he said Ford make good cars, Lockheed make brilliant brakes, and if we took them over, that our expertise is in cars, theirs is in brakes, they wouldn't make such good brakes. So we leave Lockheed as it is, and that's exactly that's his feelings, and I agree with him. Because free enterprise is the way forward, as I see it.
It's creativity as well, isn't it?
It's creativity. What we have now, the ultimate goal of capitalism is communism, because you knock out the opponents until you are the big cheese. Look at North Korea; it's run by a handful of capitalists and a family. and all we see is fatty. But that's all it is. And they're living in the life of luxury while everybody's living in dire poverty.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. Or we're all pulling
I mean,
together.
part of it, just going back to this language thing, I think someone mentioned in chat a bit earlier, the focus of governments always, I mean, I'm always banging on about this, is about the economy, right? It's the great big bogeyman. But we're not here to improve. No one talks about improving the quality of life. The idea is that the listening base is supposed to assume that if the economy improves, their life will improve. It doesn't. When? It doesn't do that. It's got nothing to do with it. We've actually solved so many of the problems, but those really good solutions, like growing good quality food, which this country could be transformed into doing that, maybe over a 10 or 15 year period. I don't know how long, but it's never going to happen because it's not being put in motion. In other words, their focus is not, right, what is important in life? We want good family life. Families thrive. They need a house of a certain shape and size. They need gardens. Right. Okay. Why? Because psychologically, you need your space. You've got to put trees in it. They need good quality food. Education has got to be structured in such a way that it's almost like a voluntary thing. Really? Yeah. Particularly for young boys. They don't need to go to school till they're 10, or they're going to go in trees and stuff because they've got certain energies. We want to create a free thinking people. Now, of course, the political class don't want that at all. Because all of the things that would actually improve life for the people will lead to the logical conclusion that this bloated leadership system, you're going to need a little of it, right? I'm not saying that. But the scale of it at the moment, it's a disease business in its own right. It's literally cancer. Yeah. All the power goes into the cities and into these power centers and bureaucracies, and they keep growing and justifying it that it's going to improve the economy. We need more efficiency. Or you're going to own nothing and you're going to be happy. Well, we own nothing anyway. I'm not bothered about ownership. Right. What we're bothered about is decent relations and behavior. You want to say you own it, you're a liar because it's owned by the creator. You don't own nothing. You come in with note, you go out with note. It's about how we behave. And then just, people go, oh, yeah, the government are going to solve these problems. No, you arsehole. The government is the problem. The government is the problem.
There was a lady.
I've got nothing to add to that. I mean, you bang on.
Was a lady I got a lot of respect for. I saw her just before we came on the show on YouTube. And she, a lady of colour, shall we say. And she was obviously born in this country. And what she was saying is similar to what we've been saying, Paul. Very similar. I'd like to get her on the show. She's good because she knows her stuff, and because she's saying that why is it that this country is European? So why have we got people that are non-European on our television and all over adverts? Because it's not being fully represented. Because the overall majority of people are European in this country. We're white Europeans. So why is it when you switch on the television, you get this image of something that's just completely fictitious, totally fictitious?
But again, she speaks. Go back and see the same agenda, though, isn't it? Sorry to interrupt, but again, all of this is just cogs in the machine. All fits together. I mean, you mentioned the Kalergi plan, and you're either going to get scoured at, or you're going to get that confused look as to what the hell are you talking about. I mean,
speak openly about this. That's right. And all this idea that the right wing is full of hate and hate crime. No. They love people. They like
there's
people.
There's no such thing, Eric. I don't think there's any such thing as the right wing or the left wing. Basically, I mean, I don't. I've no idea what people are talking about. We're not talking about it from that political bias. That's the divide and conquer stuff. Are you red or are you blue? Let's have a fight. And let's not even frame it in that way. But they have to frame it that way to keep that discord. So they go, oh, you need a referee for this fight. It just happens to be me. And by the way, I cost £500,000 a year. I'm called a politician or whatever it is. Bugger off. There's no such thing. I tend to the view right now that basically you've got people that want the nation to thrive and you've got lunatics. I don't care what colour party they say. They've got nutcases on all of them. You've got good people in all of them, but the good people have made a big mistake if they think they can resolve this through a political party. You can't. I mean, Farage can't solve the problem. It's not even about him as a personality.
I don't think he's trying to.
No, he can't. The idea that you think he could is deranged. Liz
I
Truss,
think
by
he's
the
a
way,
gay
has just written an
politician.
article. She's just been interviewed recently. I'm going to probably play it on Thursday. I sound like a big Liz Truss fanboy. I'm not. It's just that of the few politicians that I think of, she's the only one that's nailed it. She's just done a thing recently. It's about 20 minutes. I've not even listened to it yet. And she's basically repeating what she was talking about a year and a half ago, which I played loads on my show. The people that you think are in charge are not. They're not. The civil service, for a start, runs everything. There's so many blocks on all this kind of stuff. I don't have a problem with a civil service, but I have a big problem with not knowing who they are. I've got a massive problem with not. They're hiding around in the back end, taking their orders from the Bank of England to keep running their little game, pretending that they're solving problems which don't even bloody exist. It's deranged.
Well,
and these people are ill.
Well, they are, but they are now so removed from us that we're not even allowed to talk to them half the time. It's like, do we need a license to talk to these people all of a sudden? Since when? Who put them on a pedestal? I didn't vote for them.
Yeah. No.
And I sure
just look at your local town, my local town, the shitholes they've become. They've become
Middlesbrough's dead. They've absolutely killed it. I mean, it's it was never the greatest city anyway, but it's just boarded up. The whole town is, and how could you, as a civil servant or a mayor of a city, how could you take pride in that? And it's deliberate destruction. I think it's all part of herding us into smart cities. Personally, I think it's all part of destroying the smaller towns.
I agree, and it's deliberate. It's deliberate.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting. I don't know about you, but I'm beginning to get into sort of nod land. So
I'm just getting started, Eric. Bloody lightweight.
Scoring a minute ago.
What a bloody lightweight! I can't believe it. It's only 11 o'clock. We go through till 1 o'clock in the morning. Come on, let's really go for it. Nice 5 hours straight. Come on.
Well, it's been a fantastic.
I think that's a no, Paul.
Oh,
I think that's a no. Yes, definitely yes. Well, considering
put
I was up
Eric
at 5
in charge. Eric did. It's his show.
Yeah.
I didn't vote for you.
Well, I was up at 5 this morning.
I'm
beginning to sort of.
It's that bloody diet. What you need is middle of afternoon. You need some great big jam donuts. That'll keep you going, mate. That's what you need. Forget all this fancy food lark. Nice big bun. A cup of tea. Keep you going forever.
Nice bit of
stodge. Lovely bit of stodge. Mind you, I enjoy my egg and bacon in the morning, though. That's lovely, But there's a gentleman that wants to come on your show, by the way, which I'm going to have a word with you off air about, Paul.
All right.
And
nice.
there's someone interested in. We'll talk off air about this, about future shows. But this. Got anybody who's coming on this Thursday? Anybody interesting?
You, I hope. No, I don't plan things anymore now. You know what? There's so much to talk about. Didn't I send you a memo the other day? I don't know how to do this really, but I'd love to do a morning breakfast show every day of the week. I'm serious. It's more of a sort of desire than knowing quite how to fulfill it. There's so much stuff that comes across. There's so many things to talk about. And frequency and the amount that we talk about is important. It's almost like this is World War I approach to communication. They've got so much more ammunition that we've got, right? It's almost like, how do we big it up? It's not, what we say here, most of what we say here, I think is very, very close to the truth. And the bits that are, I think we're all prepared to go, you know what, I'm wrong on that. And that's what makes the difference. It's okay being wrong. In fact, if you're not willing to be wrong, we're never going to come up with any decent ideas about this at all. They're great corrective things. I think you said something earlier, Nathan, about this thing about mistakes and about what you learn from the hard way. I actually think you only learn through the hard way. There's that phrase, when the student is ready, the master will come, right? Well, that master's you. It's the individual. It's when you're in a certain condition to teach yourself. I don't know about you, but I'm such a stubborn git. I wouldn't listen to no one when I was a kid. Nah, you'll only hurt yourself. Fine. I did. Right. Didn't do it anymore. Really got it.
I've got a quote to Just to build on what you've just said there, when the student is ready, the master will appear. So I've got a quote in my book, and it's my quote. I've quoted myself. I know it's lame, which is that when the student, I know, I just figured go all out.
Go on.
But when the student is proficient and the master never appears, that's because the student has become the master, and that's what I think a lot of people miss the mark on. If you have mastered yourself, and you're able to turn things around and to build your own life separate to what you've been told, to break out of your conditioning and your programming,
Spot
and
on.
do the best you can with that, then you have, if you can take that into a level of efficiency and build upon it constantly. And again, that means learning from your mistakes. We're all human, we all screw up, we all make mistakes, and anyone who says they don't, either perfect, which is no such thing, or a liar, right? So I'd rather be in the company of somebody who makes a ton of mistakes but can admit it, than somebody who thinks they never make mistakes. Give me genuine.
Well,
I'll take that anytime.
They're blessings. Mistakes are a blessing. If
most
you
of
see
us
it
are
right.
here because of our parents making a mistake. I mean, it's like the bus driver that swerved to avoid a child and fell out of bed. Sorry. Sorry.
My parents didn't make a mistake. They organised me. I turned up. Their lives were improved immeasurably. I don't know what you're talking about, Eric.
Can we get that?
It was a very hot night before I was born, because such a huge age difference between me and my sister. But Alice Gorgeous says, whilst we have hunger and homelessness, all governments are an effing disgrace.
Yeah,
And what I heard is every war memorial is a plaque to show what a waste of time governments are. Just look at it. A war memorial is basically showing you how, we don't need governments. But now, so you've got the show coming up this Thursday, Paul, which is at 8 o'clock on Rumble, Paul English Live.
Yep.
And there's a very handsome man going on there.
Are you on there, Nathan?
Well, I don't know. I'm happy to come on if
yeah, of course. If you got Thursday free, you're more than welcome to rock up, Nathan.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That'd be brilliant. Thank you, mate.
Okay, and
can we get Paul on as well? Because sorry, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Chris. Sorry about that. But I think Paul.
I was thinking the same line. Can't we get Paul on?
Yeah, of course we can. Well, we can carry this on if you like. Actually, my picture for this week has got men and women dancing with balls of light. It's extremely sort of almost new agey. So I haven't come up with a tagline for it. So yeah, but we can carry this on because this is a rich vein. I think this is kind of really where it's at. Very much this problem with dealing with crowds, why crowds will never go towards the truth, and therefore what is our job? How do we deal? I think it's very important, and the listeners as well, because they're in this role as well. I think there is a way through. We have to keep pushing anyway, and it's worth it. And let's face it, even though you get pissed off a lot of the time, it's a pretty rich life to be leading. Seriously, you've got to sort of almost give thanks for this and going, I can't think of any other period where I've been as engaged with the outcome of my own life or the life of the people around me to the degree that I am now. Everything's sort of been building up to this, and we are near a tipping point with so many things. You can sort of feel it, and there are loads of good signs. I mean, I just mentioned that one I mentioned the other week. When I went up and spoke to those reform people, I couldn't care which party they were from. They were just out on the street. It was irrelevant to me. But when that woman said, I've just learnt about the Fabian Society, I went, oh, bingo, there's another little indicator. No one would have said Fabian Society to me 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I was sort of burrowing into that thing. I mentioned it and go, what are you talking about? Now people have gone off and they're finding out this is good. This is good. And, there can be people coming out.
Forward, actually.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It is. I take a lot of heart from that. They're like, oh, that's only a little thing. No, it's a big thing. It's a signifier that there's a level of inquiry taking place amongst people that's way higher than it's ever been. It's not as high as we want it. It'll never be as high as we want it, probably, which is a good thing because it gives us a reason to get out of bed tomorrow and push it again. But it's a very, very good sign, that people are genuinely beginning to get engaged with the outcome of their life. They're going, I don't like it like this. Good. That's great. That's really healthy. You shouldn't like it.
They're taking personal responsibility and accountability, and they're starting to have a little bit of conviction and a little bit of drive. And it's like, right, we have had enough of this. So, and this is great. Can I just give? This is going to sound like bloody virtue signaling. It's not. You were mentioning earlier about community. The people in the chat, the ones that we do have in the chat, I think they gel together really well. And I think we've got a really healthy community in the chat, actually, and I think
I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, they really do, and then they come out with some fascinating stuff as well. And so it's a good bunch, and it's brilliant to have that. And because there's no angst there.
Sorry. the same applies what I was saying before about how we all get on, and I didn't mean it just as us four. I mean the chat as well. There's no bitchiness in there. It's just people just chatting amongst themselves, and it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic.
I don't even mind, even when there is a bit of bitchiness in there. I don't mind it. I mean, I think we all make a point of dealing with it quite civilly, and so if anyone's got a problem, and they tend to voice it, and actually, a week later it's like, right, it's kind of been resolved because of the manner that we try and deal with things. And again, I don't know, it's a good. I've seen improvements across the whole movement, if you want to call it that. I think we're stepping in the right direction.
It's like in a pub where nobody's drunk, but we're having an interesting conversation. And this is how I want it to be, like a family. And I think like a sort of meeting place that we go to.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, we basically, yes, the propaganda Twilight Zone. I think we have hit the subject on the head. We didn't for the first hour, but we have for the second hour.
It was a cooking show first, and the transport minister.
The cooking was good, though. I like the cooking show.
Very good. Yes. We
all topics are covered.
But I'm getting lots of questions. I've got lots of medical questions coming in for Dr. Michael, because they're not sort of embarrassing things like, I've got a pimple on my bum and all that sort of stuff. But
by the way, just to comment on that as well, do you know what? She was great. And I think it would be great if you could get her on with you, Paul, on your show as well, because she was very relatable. I liked her a lot. I think it was she
unlike any doctor
flow
you could speak to, and she's so highly qualified. I mean, I'll be straight with you. I really did not know what to expect because I hadn't spoken to her before the show. And the moment we spoke, we got on like a house on fire. And she was actually brought up just a couple of miles up the road from where I live. She lives in Wales.
A few coincidences there, Chris. You're not. It's not a coincidence. It's a synchronicity. You're not supposed to ignore them. Just saying. Let's put that out there.
I'm on my iodine, man. It's really freaking me out. This iodine, it's marvelous stuff. But
I hear they used to put that kind of iodine in Coca-Cola, didn't they?
I think so. My vitamin C's really freaked me, But
I can't work out if you're tired or stoned.
I was just wondering, Eric. Seriously though, Eric, do you have a pimple on your bum?
No, I don't.
How do we get into this?
I didn't say I don't want that image.
He brought it up.
But
I want to know if I'm doing shows with guys that got pimples on their bum. It's important to me.
But I do have a condition, a medical condition, after riding my bike a long way, and it's called a BSA. It's called a bloody sore ass.
By the way, there's something we do need to cover on this, and it was mentioned.
My bloody sore ass.
No, not that. We need to get your ironing board a name, because it appears on most shows, and it needs a name.
Well, we've got Fred the plant. Fred's next to me, that side, and we've got the ironing board the other side. So we'll have to call it a name. Yes. So
put that in chat for the next one on Sunday. Put it in the chat as a question. Give us
Maybe, Eric, what you could do is we could have a naming ceremony with a bottle of champagne swung by the mayor of Fockham. I named this ironing board, and someone's going to come up with a grand name for it. I'll turn up. We can all wear those big chains around our necks and everything. That'll be grand. By the way,
I've got one of those.
Declare this ironing board open.
I don't know if you saw it. You know that comedian Jimmy Carr? He goes as a comedian. You heard of him? They've got a TV series coming out. Seriously, I think you need to get the Fockham Hall lawyers. Who are they? Sue Grabbit and Run. You need to get them on to this because the series is called Fackham Hall with an A.
Yes, I noticed that.
You see that?
No way.
Yeah, Fackham Hall.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fackham Hall. And I say Fackham Hall as well.
And we say Fockham Hall. Fockham Hall.
Yes. Fockham Hall.
Is it Fockham against Fackham? Maybe the only way to sort it out is a fight, right? I think we just have to have a fight. I like Fockham. I don't like Fackham. There's only which one's best. No. Let's have a fight.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if we look at it, if they put a Telegram group or a Facebook group together, people might make a slight mistake and end up here instead of there. There's always that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You could see your audience go through the roof here.
Yeah.
But well, I've had Windows saying no, I don't want to update now. Now piss off.
I know mine's
Windows,
3 times during the chat. The bloody thing's come up. Oh, do you want to upload? Do you want to restart your system?
Are we
No,
still
I don't.
broadcasting and entertaining people, Eric? Are
We
we doing
certainly
that?
are. Yes, we're still on here. But what I was going to say is next Sunday we have 2 musicians coming on the show. We have
Oh.
Trevor John, who did "Not My King." We sings funny ditties and things, and he's on with Dan, who's a group called "Of Whom by Fire." So that is Dan will be on. So that'll be interesting. And on November the 10th, there's some geezer called Survival Steve. What's bleeding hell's he?
Where's he been? Anyway, he's not been on here. Like, Steve, this is unacceptable, mate. Why haven't you been?
He's
in
been
the
out
shot?
surviving. That's what he's been
He has.
doing. He's been
Well,
out
apparently
there.
he's been in Scotland on the hills. So I suspect he's just
Frozen up his arse.
perfecting his craft, isn't he? So we'll forgive him for that one.
So he's doing his
then
Braveheart moment.
Yes.
Freedom.
What, running around naked going freedom or something with a lot of woad on his face.
Or if it's having a crap in this cold weather, it'd be Braveheart, wouldn't it? Sorry.
Was this start as you mean to end?
Why is
And
it
then
that
I
Eric?
thought-
Why is it, Eric, that all your jokes seem to go in only one direction and one direction only?
Amatorial.
Why is that?
It's full of hot air.
I have to say, the busty girl in your appointment booking department, Loretta or whatever she calls, is doing a fantastic job helping you book all these guests in. She's doing a great job.
Yes. She's worth a titter. And then on the 16th of November, Monica Schaefer's on. And on the 30th of November, we have got the Corporate Yogi coming on. Not Yogi Bear. Hello, boo boo. It's Greg Gareth coming on.
Top
And
man.
I'm hoping to get. I'm going to send an email to him. Gareth Gates on, but I don't think he will. But I'm going to give it.
Gareth
a shot.
Gates.
Gareth Gates.
Not Gareth
mean Gareth
Gates.
Ike?
Gareth Ike.
Gareth
Sorry.
Ike.
Where did Gareth Gates come from?
Well, you were thinking of Billy, obviously. You know.
Oh yeah, not Gareth. Yeah. So it'd be Bill.
Gareth Gates was a pop music
Gareth
person,
Ike.
wasn't he?
Yes. So that's another person I'm going to try and get on. And
He'll be good. He's all right. I like. Well, I like them both actually. I like Jamie and Gareth. They're decent lads. I've met them a few. So I'm just put it out there. But yeah, they're both.
Yes.
They're great. And I like the fact that they're so productive as well. They're carrying on the legacy of their father as well. I think that's necessary. And it's a good thing to see.
And
I guess we're about to sign off, Eric. Are we? Are we just about to wrap up?
Yes.
Do you think?
Yes.
Can I just leave you with a poem? And this is for everybody. Okay. Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. So that's coming up on Wednesday. Okay? It's coming up on Wednesday.
Oh, very interesting. And also with the Monica, I'm getting everything. I'm getting my worms in a mucking fuddle at the moment. With Monica, I was going to say Lewinsky. Well, you got a Monica Lewinsky joke?
Do we need to check under your desk there? Is something going on there, Chris?
Well, it's going to be either on the 10th or 16th, we're going to do an alternative remembrance, which I do every year. So that will be interesting. So, would you like to hear the Monica Lewinsky joke just before I go?
Dare we? We might as well go out on that.
Will I get a good night's sleep after it, Eric? That's my only question.
No, you might have to be treated for shock. Monica Lewinsky walks into a dry cleaner's, and the dry cleaner is as deaf as a post. Monica Lewinsky says, "I'd like this stain removed from my dress, please." And the woman says, "Come again?" She said, "No, it's mayonnaise." Sorry.
And this has been a family show production of Fockham Hall Radio Productions Department.
Until now.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, so she doesn't like fireworks either. I could never understand what the thing about fireworks is. I'm bored with fireworks. Oh, look at that. I'm so sick of fireworks already. Yeah, one of my dogs and my cat have been terrified.
Here.
Oh, Wally.
Anyway, sorry, can I just confirm with somebody in the chat? So Daisy's just said it's his birthday. That's what I usually is. It? Do you mean Steve? Is it Survival Steve's birthday?
I don't know.
Because if it is, happy birthday, mate. I'm sorry, I completely, I was
Happy
completely unaware. So
birthday to
I'll get you a couple of
Steve.
pints next time I see you, mate. So,
Yes. And don't take the fart joke too seriously, Steve. Sorry.
I take we're not going to see you on X Factor anytime soon, then, Paul.
No, hopefully not. No, I haven't applied. Would you like me to?
With that sort of voice, I think you'd be all right.
And now
Just
we're
a
going
bit-
to sing Happy
probably would.
Birthday in the style of Matt
There you go.
Monroe.
He's going to be the narrator of it next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we'll do that. Well, I must do some voiceovers for Fockham Hall Radio. We must do them
Yeah.
for the news department. We do need that. I've actually got I've got a bow tie and a wing collar shirt and all that kind of stuff. We must dress up if we're going to do it properly behind a standard, good quality British microphone and get all these things sorted out.
That's right.
And we need an orchestra. We need all of that stuff, and then we can do it. Yeah, it'd be good.
Fuck 'em all wind instrument.
Aunt Sally said, I like fireworks at proper displays,
Yeah,
not these arseholes who let them off
I
out
agree.
of their back gardens before it even got dark. Yeah, it's like Vietnam where I live. It's bloody
I don't even
fireworks going
understand
off.
that. To do that here as well, it's like during the day when it's broad daylight. No, you can't see it. It's just bangers going off because there's bloody chavs and stuff releasing. I'm going to stop there because otherwise I'm going to go on a tirade against chavs and roadmen.
My dad, we could only afford cheap fireworks, so my dad used to suit them up. And he put, the jumping crack, or what is it called? He used to put them on elastic, so it goes doing, doing. And another one, he made a V1 flying bomb out of one of the rockets.
It's a bit much, isn't it? A V1 rocket going up. I mean, that would be a hell of an explosion, wouldn't it?
And I know the things he had such an imagination, such an inventive mind. But I don't forget he had a launcher on it as well. So let the end.
It's a boy thing. We like things that explode. That's it. We just like exploding things. We like things that explode.
Oh, it was so much fun that we had, we had potatoes in the fire, but some of his homemade rockets.
You
We
said
had
that
mushy
your
peas.
neighbours' houses were derelict. And your dad blowing them up really rather than just spectating.
He's having a second childhood because he had a pretty tough childhood, and he used
I've
to
got a
love
bazooka
doing
here.
it. But the old firecrackers going up and down on elastic bands and things. It's bleeding dangerous. Anyway, it's been a great show. Thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you, everybody in the studio. It's been absolutely fantastic. And these last 3 hours,
3.5
Oh,
hours.
it's gone for 3:33. Watch, he's going to end the show on 3:33, and it's going to trigger the hell out of people.
Well, I'm going by my German Olympic watch, stopwatch. Here it is, and I turn it back, and there it is, the German Olympic 1936 stopwatch. It's a fake.
It must be real. You've got it in your hands. No, it's terrible.
Well, actually, no, it's got a star
No,
instead
I know,
of something naughty. Yes, that's how you tell the difference. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers.
Join Paul, and I think it's the same team this Thursday on the Paul English Live.
I think it will be. Yep.
Sounds good.
On Rumble, and you can look it up on his website, which is,
PaulEnglishLive.com.
.com.
All the links are
and of course you've got Soapbox Radio as well. So this is what we're going out on, and all it leaves me to say is remember to shove your old thumbs up. Please subscribe, and whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh, and good night.